I'm FD from Roll with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
I'm rolling with FD.
And this is my co-host, Big Jon.
Hey YouTube, it's your boy Big Jon. Thank you for rolling with me and FD here on What's to Play.
We're here every week.
Big Jon, what's going on?
What's up? What's going on?
Talking sports, the hobby, pop culture, and much more.
Catch us every Tuesday night talking about sports, the sports car hobby, and current events. Go Bears.
Most of these teams that do not care about if they're winning ball games. They care enough about, are you interested in what they're doing?
Beckett probably going out of business or getting bought sooner.
I don't think Kawhi Leonard, if he comes back, he's going to end up going back out.
Dion, you don't got to like that he cocky, but he got a right to be.
Big Jon, if Jimmy Butler goes to the Bay, I'm on the ground and I'm not. And you all know we're going to bring on guests from the hobby and everywhere else that you want to hear from.
You have to be prepared for haters. You have to be prepared for people who don't like you.
I started opening up my first packs in 1976.
I don't want to interrupt you, but while you're talking, I just got some background entertainment for you, but keep going.
What are you playing? Michael Jordan.
We got Junior in the house and Paxton in the house.
A lot of players got to find a way to win based on their own strengths.
What would we say is John Morant's strength?
Attacking the rim.
You know, small guards attack the rim, don't play long. This is the What's to Play podcast. Big Jon,
What's up?
how you doing, man? Tuesday.
Good. We're good. Watching some good basketball, trying to relax, you know.
Who's playing right now?
Detroit, New York. Tied up at 90.
Tied up at 90?
Yeah.
I mean, what I do like about Detroit is that they will not go away.
They won't.
They will not. And they're saying that this is our series as much as it is the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know that the next round of the playoffs is about to get very interesting.
Yeah.
For Cleveland, for the Lakers. I mean, yeah, well, Lakers probably won't be there, but for the Clippers or Denver, that's one of the best series that's going on right now. Man, that thing is special. So we'll see.
I mean, outside of the 1-8, all the other series have been good and competitive.
Very good. Very competitive.
Like
refs are stepping back and letting people play basketball.
Yeah, but they also aren't controlling the game. They letting a lot too much, and then it gets out of hand.
It almost reminds me of early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for it. I like it's a bunch of youth versus experience, and experience is winning.
A lot of that. Well, that's the question I have for Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last year he put out Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
This year, probably gonna put out LeBron and Luka.
Mm-hmm.
And on the LeBron side and the Kevin Durant side, is he a young guy that's playing very well? He's playing very well. That's running into some older guys at the right time.
We'll see next series.
Yep.
We'll see when he runs into Curry and Butler.
That's the same thing I thought. We'll see what that acid test looks like. What is he made of?
But listen, we knew that Phoenix last year wasn't that good.
Uh-huh.
We have an idea or an opinion on how good the Lakers can be with LeBron and Luka. Mm-hmm. But we also know that the defense is lacking.
Very much so. And both of those players are similar on the defensive end. Yeah.
But when you have them two and Reeves making shots, they are hard to beat.
They are.
But it's a lot of being out executed. Like there are times where Minnesota is just out executing them.
Yes. And they're more athletic than them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because McDaniels is causing people problems.
Yes.
I mean, he has Luka shook. This guy's shooting like 60-something% from the field when Luka's guarding him. And they're coming right at Luka all the time.
Yeah. And that zone isn't working. Because you get past Luka and then you get past LeBron, But everybody will see the one highlight block and the one highlight defensive play. I'm like, oh, LeBron's a great defender.
Yeah, he's playing well tonight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Brunson won Clutch Player of the Year?
Yeah.
What's up with these awards now?
I don't know.
What is Clutch?
Hmm.
What is that? And Curry was the best teammate? Big John, you and I should get together. We should create an award.
Create awards. Oh, that was a foul.
Well, I think you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm at 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game.
Oh, I'm at 3:58. Wow, you're way ahead. You think Detroit can win this? Oh, they're right.
They're in
They're in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, in the game. So, what are your thoughts on that game last night, Golden State?
A wonderful game. I felt strongly in the third quarter the game was over.
Yeah, you texted me that, and I did not feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I felt Houston had a good, not control, but they had a good momentum in that game.
They did have a good momentum.
They had they were up 7, but the 7 only. They were up 7, but the 7 only felt like 4.5.
I agree.
Like a true 7 points. And when Golden State was up, it didn't feel like they were up 8. It felt like they were only up by 2.
I agree with that.
I was like, I'm going to go sleep in this game. And then Jimmy Butler showed up. And I was like,
it seems like that I'm going to call it hip was bothering him. But then when Dylan Brooks started that yik-yak talking, it just re-energized him.
He's like, oh, well, this don't hurt no more.
Might as well step up.
I'm not going to lose to this bum.
We know
that he choked him and they didn't call it. He choked him in front of the referee. And
it was almost like Isaiah Thomas. Choked him with the right hand and then quickly let it go and no call. I could have swore something was coming of that. But you saw Dylan Brooks tried to flop that time?
Yeah.
I wonder if the league is going to send him a little notice.
No.
It's just it's another thing to have an irritant like Dennis Rodman or Draymond Green.
Or Pat Bev.
Oh, yeah, Pat Bev. Someone that's getting after something. And you can see it. But when you see a guy who's just pretty average all around the board and he tries to be the antagonist, it just doesn't really translate. It's almost like, your little brother, your little sister coming at you and trying to tackle you or something. It's like, what are we doing right now?
But I blame a lot of this on Ime.
Oh, it's all Ime's. That whole team, Thompson, all these guys, even Van Fleet, he didn't play like that in Toronto. He didn't do all that talking in Toronto.
Well, Van Fleet wasn't talking last night.
Not last night. He was supposed to talk the night before.
Yeah, he was respectfully talking to the refs and acting like, okay, what's this? He was being a vet. Like him and Steven Adams were just being vets. Right? And that's why.
I still haven't forgot Van Fleet saying, you better pray that Jimmy comes back.
Was that Van Fleet or was that Dylan?
I think that was Van Fleet talking.
No, yeah, she just things you shouldn't say. And Curry never really got going.
No, he was off a little bit all night.
But
and
everybody
I still don't know why at one point he left and went to the locker room for like 4 minutes. What was that? Was it a thumb? Because that was the same time that he took that swipe at Dylan Brooks to tell him to get off of him. Did he do something with that hand? It's not going to be talked about. Steph is not going to talk about that.
No.
But let's talk about Jalen Green. So to me, his game, like I've watched him for a couple of years now, he's a slasher that stops and pops. He can either stop and pop a 3, or he has a decent little mid-range game where he can stop and pop that. Golden State has cut off any slashing from this guy, really. Hasn't been a lot of that. So he's settling for the jump shot. And it's not paying out for him. I mean, he's shooting 39%, 38% from the field. 30-something%, low 30s from the 3-point line. And he's carrying big minutes, 35 minutes a game, 35 minutes a game. Detroit's about to.
They're about to win this.
Detroit's about to win this.
Shout out to New Breed.
This is out. Shout out Newbury. This is also a sign of coaching because they're a totally different team. I mean, we got some vets in here, stuff like that, but just it looked like their mindset is totally different than what we saw last year. What do you think of Kate Cunningham?
I like him. I like the improvement. I think with the moves they made and having a real coach with a culture, you're getting to see what he really is about. You didn't see it his rookie year.
Agree with all that.
So you didn't see it last year. So I think he was injured his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, got that leg injury. Yeah.
So now you kind of getting to see, and he's 6'8".
Big dog point guard.
You know, he's what everybody thought Ben Simmons would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it.
Game. 4-point lead, 44 seconds left. You're probably at 30 something. It's about game. Tim Hardaway Jr. seems to be revitalized with this thing.
Yeah, he's playing his role. He be a spot up shooter. He can play.
Mm-hmm. And even when Kyrie got to Dallas, he was shooting better. Another thing we all know about Buddy Hield. Let him be a spot up shooter. Buddy, don't do all the dribbling, bro.
Don't dribble, buddy.
Just shoot when you get the rock. And things seem to work out for him. All right, what we got here in the comments? Brendan, give RHE man a glass of goat milk. Oh, give the man a glass of goat milk. What is that from? Is that from something?
You talking about when we talking about LeBron?
Oh yeah. He's getting a good night's sleep and eating his Wheaties. LP, create gimmicks when you're desperate, like that mid-season tournament. Yeah, I mean, they tried to do something to promote viewership because typically in the past, I'm not watching basketball until February. And then it all matters. So trying to get people to stay engaged. Sometimes you check, sometimes you get checked. I still want to know what they said to Giannis. What did they say to that man? You go across court and find a parent? Cade the man. He's developing. He's developing. He has an edge too. Yep. I'm seeing Jalen Brunson. I know small guards catch hell. It's like a lot of limping around.
Yeah, he rolled his ankle twice in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I was talking about Houston, right? It's a couple things I noticed watching this series, right?
Yeah, what you got?
Amen Thompson can't shoot.
No. Has no mid-range.
And he won't shoot.
No.
Which just makes him an athletic Draymond.
He's really
without the IQ.
But he's really Jonathan Kuminga. Because Jonathan Kuminga can't shoot.
Yeah, but he plays way better defense than Kuminga.
Oh yeah, way better. Yes.
So he's just Draymond without the IQ. Because Draymond doesn't shoot, doesn't look to shoot from the top of the key. He gets the ball on top of the key, and you can tell when he wants to go attack. When he wants to pass, it's between the legs dribble. When he wants to attack, it's an in and out dribble. No between the legs, in and out when he wants to get to the lane. And I knew last night that they're going to run a Sagoon play. They've been running the whole fourth quarter while Draymond was sitting, and I knew it was going to stop because they want him to bring it up left side and walk down the post and post man move after the switch on the smaller somebody. So,
what's interesting too is as Draymond gets older, has gotten older, he's not trying to dunk the basketball.
No.
Draymond, Michigan State, Draymond early in his career, Golden State, you see him do these drives, he's poking that thing. Now he's trying to find a fancy way. I don't blame him. He's got a lot of time on the court. He's trying to find a fancy way to lay that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Adams, if he could shoot free throws, man.
Yep. Oh, and again, I understand that strategy. That's not basketball.
Oh, that's a Shaq. That's the Shaq attack, right?
Yeah. It's a strategy. It ain't basketball.
Oh well, got him off the court.
Mm-hmm. You got to make them.
And speaking of off the court, where was Jalen Green? I've been looking for something all day to find out was he hurt.
He wasn't hurt. It's just that 2-man lineup was working.
So is Ime thinking Detroit's about to win? Okay.
Yeah.
So is Ime thinking that his defense is not good enough to be one of those other three? He must be thinking that.
No,
I know he had some players out there that had some links to him too.
Well, again, are you going to take Van Vliet out?
No,
you only shooting.
But who are the other two guys? You got the small
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. I would take him out.
Dylan Brooks and Amon.
You think? Well, we're thinking defense. You think Dylan Brooks has better defense? I guess that's what he's thinking.
Could be. How did he miss that?
Shedeur tries to be a leader on this team too. Oh, don't tell me. Let me see it. Don't tell me.
Woo.
Kenny Shedeur. So I've got a Flux K rookie. Got it because it reminded me of the Hoking process of the 90s top strong. Yes, it did. All right, let's see what's popping here. Wow, it's funny how these games end. LP, I've seen your Instagram post on Shedeur. Let's talk about
Shedeur.
Oh, on Shedeur? Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. Dropped in the draft. Some people said he came in arrogant, answered certain questions a certain way. I mean, we do know that when he was at a press conference at the combine, he said, "If you're not trying to win, don't come and get me."
Mm-hmm.
Probably said that to some teams who are not winning.
Yeah.
And haven't won. So when you say that, you got every right to say it to me. But when you say it, you're calling people out.
I mean, I'm just going to put out that there have been cockier people that got drafted still.
But
with less talent.
Big Jon, when I hear cocky, that's not really the word.
No.
That's not the word. When I hear arrogant, it's not the word. When I hear humble, humble, that's not the word. Fuck the word.
No. Stay in your place.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody told Johnny Manziel stay in his place. Nobody told
Johnny Manziel was cocky as hell.
Mm-hmm. What's the quarterback for Tampa now? They got drafted by Cleveland.
Oh, Mr. Runaway from the Police?
Yeah. I can't think of his freaking name now.
I see his face. It'll come to me.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
Thank you, Jordan. So you guys have these people. Yeah, arrogant. So you seen in the intro, right? Dion got the right to be cocky.
I love the
like it.
I love the fact that you said that. Yeah.
Again, he has every right to be cocky. That guy ain't gotta like it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he got drafted to Cleveland, who has 5 quarterbacks on their roster. Let's compete. So I think majority of people feel like it was a conspiracy. Shedeur was wrong. Mm-hmm. What are you going? Well, nothing we can do about it. Nope. But right now, it's in. I mean, there's been plenty of Heisman Trophy winners that have been trash.
Also, Shedeur had the most wide receivers drafted in the draft. that he threw balls to.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I predict is
Hmm.
Shedeur will be starting at some point in the season.
Well, if he makes the team,
Well, I think he makes it.
they got 5 quarterbacks. There's no he's a 5th round pick.
Look at the Cats. Gabriel, bro. You watched him play.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
I-
The kid out of what's his name? Schubert or Schubert?
Show whatever. They went to Saints.
That dude can't play football, man.
No. I'm disappointed in the Saints not taking Shedeur. Even though I love Spencer Rattler because he's a Gamecock, he's not an NFL quarterback. Not a starting quarterback.
The Saints owner might have been one of the people that said, take him off the draft board.
Good.
Could have been. Allegedly and respectfully.
Could have been.
Yeah. Because the way the story went, several team owners said, take that cat. I don't want him here.
Mm-hmm.
Take him off the board.
I mean, if there's any position on the football field that I want to be cocky and arrogant,
it's the QB.
It's a QB.
And I've been in the huddle. I want to look at that guy when he's calling the play and know that there's ice in his veins. He believes in himself. He believes in me. And we're about to go handle this business.
But so I'll compare it to Jalen Hurts. How he was humble. He had a great story coming in. And then when he got the starting job, now you're saying he's cocky. He's a diva. You're hearing these reports coming out because it's a standard. The standard is a standard. We do things a certain way in Philly. That's how we're going to run it, right?
So picture this, though.
Yeah.
What's up? What we got?
Like LP say, Aaron Rodgers. Y'all begging Aaron. Teams are begging Aaron Rodgers to come play for them.
Yeah. And he's washed.
Yeah.
So picture this. Like, we should all know that Shedeur Sanders is not just going to show up to camp and read his playbook and go out and play. I'm pretty sure Dion has a system in place for him. I'm pretty sure he has. It wouldn't shock me if he has. This probably be talked about later when all this other stuff blows over. He probably has a private coach. Detroit wins by 3.
Mm-hmm.
He probably has a private coach. He probably has some kind of counseling, something set up where he could talk through football, life, whatever, while he's in camp. I'm pretty sure he has a system set up around him. I saw him today, I think, walking into the Cleveland Browns facility. I saw Bernie Kosar and the painting on the wall. Mm-hmm. And Shedeur is walking in. It looked like, I haven't confirmed this, but it looked like he's walking in with some cameras. I mean, if I was Dion or the camp, I'm sending a crew with him. Mm-hmm. It may not be his brother, but he's on the level now. Mm-hmm. We're going to document this. And if anybody has a problem with that, I just love the GM of the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. I've had a chance to check out his background, but he didn't look enthused.
No. My thing is that you have teams that needed a quarterback that didn't get a good quarterback, and we're overshadowing the fact that Cam Ward was the number 1 pick. Give that man his due for being number 1 pick, and nobody's talking about that. The whole draft is about Shedeur.
Well, let me just say this. Like I give respect to Cam Ward for being number 1 pick, but I don't think Cam Ward is the number 1 pick quarterback. And I think a lot of people think the same thing. Cam Ward last year was maybe projected to be 4th or 5th round. Mm-hmm. Came back to Miami, played 1 season. He's number 1 overall. Did you watch Cam play? I
didn't watch him play. I don't watch him play. I have no opinion.
I watched
him play.
I watched him. I wish him the best of luck. I just don't see that. I like him to show me that.
Yeah.
And I believe people are not talking about Cam Ward because they really think Shedeur is a better quarterback.
Does anybody? I don't even know to even say if anybody's buying Shedeur because you won't get cards until next Super Bowl at the rate the card market's going.
Yeah, it'll be a long time. It'll be a long time. Jordan says Shedeur has a big heel when coach and GM didn't want him. But at the end of the day, though, you're the coach and the GM of the Cleveland Browns. Right? So that means you probably won't be coach long, and you probably won't be GM long. So if I'm walking in straight up and I'm Shedeur Sanders, I'm not worried about those two people. They're both not Hall of Famers. I can tell you that right now. They're not Hall of Famers. So unless a Hall of Famer that I really respect, I wouldn't even give a damn about what Boomer Esiason is talking about. Boomer Esiason, Hall of Famer?
The other report was that Kellen Moore didn't want him because he didn't think he could get him to listen to him. And like that's just weak.
Yeah, but that's a popular opinion to say when you really haven't done anything. What has Kellen Moore done?
No, you weak. You the coach.
Yeah, he's very weak. He hasn't done anything. So you can say, hey, I didn't want him here because he probably won't listen. Maybe he won't accept that bull junk that you talking when he's sitting in the back of the quarter or the middle of the front of the quarterback's room, and he's like, I'm not buying it. I would do this with the ball. Maybe you don't want that. Hey, Lawrence Taylor came into Bill Belichick meetings, laid down and went to sleep on the floor and got up and balled every week. So, and I played with guys, man. I played with people. Man, if they're in a meeting, they're damn near asleep or not paying attention. But then let's go play the game. And it's a totally different. And the guy who's sitting there leaning forward and taking notes and raising his hand talking to coach is about to get balled up as soon as we get out on the field. So all that, I think a lot of people say stuff to patronize the general public who probably has never been in the locker room, never been on the field, never been sitting next to a guy. Hey, I've been in an accounting class in college where there was a guy, man, who would come in with a piece of paper and take notes and get A+ A's on tests. They're just people, man, that are not about all that, but are about all that.
Oh, I was the person who came to math classes. I'd go to sleep, wake me up for the test. And here go. Hey, all right, I'm out here now, right? And like you teaching me stuff I already know. I don't have time to learn stuff I already know. Let me put my shades on, go to sleep, and not disrupt the class because you just teaching something I already know. And if you call me, you wake up and call me out in the middle of class, I'm gonna answer the question right and show you up. So we can do this one of two ways.
We talk about the players who show up to games elevated on any substance and will ball out. Play with some cats like that too. Show up to a spring ball game, show up to a regular season game, and we'll have the best game ever. So I think a lot of this stuff is just, I think Shedeur is the best quarterback in the class, but nobody's going to say that. Nobody's really going to stand behind that. And I think and I also think the videos that I watch, this is just me, and I'm not all Shedeur. Shedeur has some of his faults. He has to get rid of the rock.
Yeah.
You cannot hold on to that ball like that in that NFL. You cannot do that, bro. You're not going to outrun people. But to me, he has the ability. If he locks in on settling down in that pocket and delivering the ball, he has the ability. But Cam Ward wants the attention of Shedeur Sanders. To me, whenever I see them guys around each other, he's fighting for attention that he's not going to get. He doesn't have that charisma and that personality and that kind of smile. He just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He's got to live with that, though. He can still do well. People are buying his cars from Bowman right now. Yeah, that's that immediate satisfaction. Let me get a Shedeur Sanders car.
Brendan LP, the it factor. You just can't put your finger on it, but you know when somebody has it.
Yes, you do. How they react real quick when something is happening. There's a blitz, so they didn't pick up young in their career, but they're moving out of the way, delivering a rock to somebody. Nobody's talking about Genty.
Nobody.
No. That's again, that dude doesn't really have that kind of personality.
I wanted him to go to the Bears.
But you knew that wasn't going to happen.
I knew it wasn't going to happen. They're not that smart.
Yeah.
No, you get a tight end when you have Cole Kmet, who is one of the best red zone tight ends in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You go get another tight end.
Mm-hmm.
No. The Bears need a running back. Let's say running back. Not a catching running back, not a slashing. I want them to either get Bo or Gentry, somebody that's going to go hit the hole and go downhill. Like Swift, no. Swift, I didn't like Swift. I didn't like Tariq Cohen. I don't like these shifty backs because that's not
really small people, man.
Yeah, that's not Chicago Bears football. Mm-mm. Chicago Bears football is run and smack you and play good defense.
Jordan asked a question. What do we say a good career for Shedeur is? 4, 12, 13 years? I don't think I can't look at any play. This is just me. I can't look at any play in the NFL. Average career is 3.2 years. Mm-hmm. So I can't look at any player and just pop off 12, 13. You don't know what could happen to a guy coming out of the backfield on a rollout. You don't know. Mm-hmm. I just hope he comes out and represents himself well. That's all he needs to do. Know his playbook, and be able to read defenses. I just feel in my gut. I don't know, but I feel in my gut that Prime is not going to just have him out there, man. Mm-hmm. He's not.
There's people afraid to draft him because they feel like they have a bad year. They're going to get replaced by Deion. Like, you got a lot of insecurity.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice one.
Well, I think Deion walked in rooms and said, he's not going to cold weather teams. And if he does go somewhere, it's going to be someplace I can come coach him. Mm-hmm. Hey, I've met anybody in the chat met Deion Sanders?
No.
I've met Deion Sanders 3 times. Mm-hmm. He is going to, in the times I've met him, those 3 times, I can't summarize the whole man. But in those 3 times, he did the same things. He is going to speak his mind without any hesitation. He's one of the few people I've ever met in life. I can talk. Deion Sanders is going to speak his mind, and he does not care about what you're thinking or talking about. So I can imagine this is his son. He walks in. Deion Sanders probably made some very direct statements to people that probably turned them off. Because what are you going to tell the guy who had one of the best abilities at cornerback, probably the best ever, won Super Bowls, played in the World Series? What are you going to tell that guy? When you're just a director of player operations or a GM or on a failing team. Not much. More weapons. The tight end is a good player. With Ben is a passing offense.
I understand that. And he's a passing offense, but you look at him in Detroit, he had 2 running backs, and both running backs ran downhill to open that pass game up.
Yeah. Yep. And his mother is F.T. Myers, 80s, before he built her a house. Yeah, Fort Myers. Yes. And so I saw something on Instagram today that I thought was interesting. And this is how these guys move. So the house they were at for the draft, that whole weekend, I thought, okay, they're at Deion's house.
Yeah.
They were at a house that Shedeur owns outside of Dallas, Texas. You peeping game on that?
Mm-hmm.
So Shedeur, we know he's making, don't like to count people's pockets, but Shedeur is doing his thing. So he's a house owner, and they have a lot of land around. Like Deion's a country guy. There's a lot of land around that house. I love the way they're making moves, man.
But you're gonna see more of this with NIL and people coming into the league.
Yes.
With 6 figures in their bank account.
Have made more than the GM that is evaluating them. Yep. And this is the problem. You have older players who have retired, who are probably right around my age, who came through in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s, who didn't get that bank, didn't have that NIL deal. And they're looking at this little punk. Look at this little. He think he all that. He got the medallion chain on, and Shedeur was in a club after the draft with a briefcase of money, and he think he all that.
He's doing what the NFL players already do coming out of college.
But you know what he's also doing, especially with the help of his brother? I believe Bucky's going to be very instrumental in what's going on with Shedeur. Bucky is going to make sure if he's not there, he's going to be managing the process of what's released to the public and when. And we've never really seen a player come out with his own PR social media group with him all the time. And that's going to make a huge difference. No one else is going to be telling Shedeur's narrative. He's going to be releasing that information when he feels like it. It's going to be funny to watch. Yeah, Curry Puck is all over there. Where? Hold up. The mall was closed to the airfield, and spring training had a ton of players shopping.
Okay, for the drive.
Okay.
So we got.
Wish I could have met him. What's that?
We got Ziggy in the house.
Ziggy up in here. Ziggy, what's up, man? I met him in hotel elevator. Wasn't very friendly. He was shorter than I thought. Not mean, just not friendly. And that's Dion. He's not mean. He's not mean. He's just very straight to the point about what he's talking about. And I did also think the first time I saw him that cat has to be taller than that. He's not a big guy, but he's built for speed, built for agility. A strong father is scary, LP, to everybody walking around, not just the NFL. A real dad coming up in a place. Sometimes when I go to junior school, they don't know what to. They're looking. They don't know what that is. Hey, I think it's interesting in 2025 does like that.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Ziggy.
Yeah, Ziggy, good to be here, man. Cheers, sir. I lurk in your show and watch that. Yeah, thank you, Ziggy, for being here. Thank you for watching.
We got Al Guido, new somewhere in the chat. Nice to see you. I'm all over chat.
Yeah. How you doing? What you got?
So NFL starts in August. We got. Do you think Shannon's gonna be back on ESPN? Or is he done?
No. You want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shannon's done with ESPN. I think, and notice Shannon's group, Shannon's team released the statement that he was going back in the fall. It wasn't ESPN that released that statement.
Yeah.
So I think Shannon's done there. As soon as I heard about this, the first thing I said to April was that this dude's done at ESPN. And to tell you the truth, Big Jon, this is just my thoughts. I think these are some of the things, and I'm not a proponent of what Shannon has done or what has come out about him. I do have some ideas about it that I can share. But I think these things about how we release people is why ESPN is struggling. And this is why people like to turn and look at the show that we have right now. We're talking openly. We're giving our opinions openly. I'm not censoring myself because I think some entity above Big Jon and I is going to let one of us go.
Right.
I'm just talking.
We got to be a company, man. Based off of Stephen A's comments and how he was very neutral to pessimistic, I was like, he's not coming back.
No,
you don't have the head guy fighting for you.
That first conversation when Stephen came on his show and started talking,
yeah.
the writing's on the wall that Shannon Sharpe is gone.
You don't have a person that fought to get you to fighting for you.
No.
So
they're actually telling people why they're retracting their hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go on to start saying, well, I would never. This is the part that tripped me out, man. Well, I would never do that. I would never put myself in a precarious position. Well, I'm, under review.
Listen, if what he's accused of is true, that is not allowed, right? If what he is accused of comes out false, and there's no consequence for the accuser of the falseness, that's wrong as well.
You're talking about the R word, right?
Right. Yeah. That's no.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, not at all. 100% not at all. No.
But if this was consensual,
yep,
and two grown folks doing whatever they're doing, that's a whole nother ball game.
Whole nother ball game. If this is just a way to extort him out for money, because now when you were like, oh, the LeBron Stephen A. thing stage, it ain't real, it's conspiracy. I was like, no, okay. But then when you come out, hey, Shannon about to get 100 mil, and then you get a negative story out to him the day later, that seemed like some coordination.
I thought of that too. Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah. Especially you won't have.
Especially when you've been around 3.5 years.
Yep.
You've been on the scene. You've been out in public. You've been on trips. You've been all over the place.
No.
If you go back and look at Nightcap, there's a conversation that Shannon has with Gilbert Arenas and Ocho Cinco where they name this individual.
Yep.
And Gilbert knows her. And starts talking about her. And Ocho is like, who y'all talking about now? And Shannon's laughing.
Yeah, because Shannon, yeah. So.
But I also say, Big Jon, I've expressed to you that Shannon Sharpe doesn't need ESPN.
No.
Shannon Sharpe just signed a huge volume deal.
All right, Hector, I just got to Hector this because he says either way, a 50-year-old, a 90-year-old dude, come on. Okay. What about a 75-year-old with a 24-year-old?
Yeah, because that's then you got a 76-year-old with a 34-year-old, and that's Mick Jagger from Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 50 and 19 is wrong. I get it. But everybody's loving the Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old cheerleader girlfriend.
That's right. And
that's all fine.
And Hector and others. Let me ask this question.
They were 74 and 24 when they got together. It's like 2 years.
That's right. And let me ask, what's the sliding rule? And I've asked this question to other people since this story has come out. When does it become crazy?
That's medicinal.
Yeah, Brandon. That's how you get to the fountain of youth. So tell me now, because Brendan's saying something here. Tell me, Hector, what's the sliding rule? What age gap is crazy, and then when does it become crazy? Because 19 is grown, 20 is grown, 21 is grown, and some states 17 is grown.
I get what Hector's saying. 26 is 19. I get it. But we're still talking about 50-year gap.
So I'm going to challenge, because I said to myself this week, I'm going to challenge this. So Hector and whoever else is in the chat, when do age gaps matter? At what point? And I want somebody to give me a number. I don't want to talk about this hypothetical and it don't feel right and it doesn't look right. When do age gaps matter? And we also know Martha Stewart, back in the day, had a young guy that worked for her that she was in a relationship with, and she was much older. So this thing goes both ways. But when does the age gap matter?
I think her being 19 is what bothers.
Heck,
What bothers her.
you can say teen ain't it. I got to get an answer to this question. Give me a numerical number where the age gap matters. And if she's 19, what's the oldest she can be around? Go ahead, Big Jon. Hold up. Jordan says 18. It's going to be a good conversation. 18, you can go to prison. So it's definitely adult. Doesn't mean mature. Jordan, I know people in their 50s and 60s that's not mature. Old saying people used to say when I was growing up, you ain't met a fool until you met an old fool. So please don't give me maturity. I walk out my house and see supposedly grown people. I saw something the other day on Instagram where a person doing the interview said every adult you see is really an 8-year-old in a bigger body. So don't expect just because you see some gray hairs or whiskers or whatever that it's maturity. If you know science, brain not totally developed by 19. Hector, again, I'm not listening to any of that. So explain to me a 50-year-old that's ass backwards. I'm not listening to any of that. Give me an age where it starts. So if we say 19, what's the oldest numerical number that a 19-year-old could be around where it doesn't turn your stomach?
I'm saying because a 76-year-old and 26-year-old don't sit well to me. Sit well with me either. 50 and 19 don't sit well with me. 70.
But I don't see anybody talking about that.
Right? They just had a whole interview together and stuff, you know. And this is just not. And this has nothing to do with race. This is just age. Like, and that don't sit well with me either. So it is what it is. You know, you see Leonardo DiCaprio after if they get over 24, he dump him.
He just got a 24-year-old that he dumped, and he's now with a 19-year-old. I don't hear anything about that.
And he does this religiously. You hit 24, that's your cap.
And he has a whole list of people that have hit that 24-year-old mark and gone. It's like Thanos. It always gets me when people say, "Oh, that's disgusting." It's like, what are we talking about? I don't get it, man. I don't know. And I think it's, LP, I was just about to say this. It's selective outrage. And that's most of this stuff that we see as adults. I decide when I have a problem.
So you want to go more selective outrage? Just be honest.
Yeah, what's up?
Tops conference. You want to go to this selective outrage as well?
Yeah, I love this. Yes.
So if everybody doesn't know.
Hello, Leo treats women like cars. He trades them. Yeah, nobody's talking about this, bro. Nobody's talking about this. This is all good in the neighborhood. This is understood. You see his new person at Coachella. It's understood. Jordan, when my wife passed, I said I couldn't date anyone. Wasn't old enough to have a daughter. 16. My same age or close. Hold up now. What is this saying? You couldn't date anyone that wasn't old enough to have a daughter. How did you come up with that equation?
Have a daughter of the age of 16.
Yeah, but how did you come up with that equation? I hear you. So I guess what I'm taking from this is that it's personal preferences, right? So your age limit, FD, is what's legal. I'm not even in a no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not in a situation where I'm running around with 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds. But if somebody chooses to do it, that's my age.
It's two consenting adults.
Yes. Who am I, really? This is what I'm about to get into. Who am I to walk up and look at two consenting adults and say, I got a comment about that. I don't know what that is. And in those states, Hector, that voted to have 16, go ask them. Because if it wasn't right, then it shouldn't exist. Masses of people got together and said, I'm good with that. I don't live in that state.
Guido with a great comment. You never see a night show with anyone over 40 unless the person is famous or have money.
Now, Hector, go ahead and argue this. You see a 19-year-old with somebody broke?
No, I'm saying no. We both said we were not cool with it at all. But what I'm saying is that we are putting Shannon Sharpe at 50 dating a 19-year-old, but not having the same energy for a 76-year-old dating a 24-year-old.
Yes.
With a literal 50-year gap.
Yes. And I don't understand the term cool. I'm gonna challenge you, Hector. I don't understand how you guys cool with it. Because legally, it's appropriate. And I really don't get when people start giving me the moral.
Yeah, talk about Shannon.
I don't get the moral police. Yeah, we're talking about Shannon. I don't get the moral police. I could walk up, man, and with a lot of people and have something to say. I don't do that. If it's working for them, I have to live by a saying, if they like it, I love it. I don't have anything to do with that. I do know some people who have been in relationships personally with someone around their same age, and that thing was horrible. So then if they get out of that and they find somebody that they connect with in some kind of way, the same thing is said, people, about people who are with people that's not in their race.
Mm-hmm.
The exact same thing is said. Are you cool with that? Is that appropriate to you? And we know, if we go back through our history, because I love history, that was illegal. It was a federal crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be, I'm just not prepared. I'm not built to be the moral police. Here we go with passive aggressive comments. Well, you know how that goes. We're going to walk through them. Isn't there some kind of Romeo Juliet law? 18 plus can marry 16 and 17? Something like that? I don't know anything about it. Could be. Could be. FD, I can't how you say that with a straight face. Say what, Jordan?
I will say this, right? Minus the age thing, right? If what he's accused of is true, comes out to be true, that is completely all wrong no matter what age.
Our word is, we're not even talking about that.
Yeah.
We're saying that if that is not true, two adults being together, what are we talking about?
My other thing is, I know way too much about Shannon Sharpe's sex life that I never asked to know.
Me too. And then when you know what, I was catching. I'm watching like Nightcap. I'm watching when Monique was on, when Young Miami was on. I'm watching some stuff, and I'm like, man, dude's throwing some stuff out here. Really? Yes. When my man said, I don't want a good woman, I'm trying to see what the street's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I'm not one of these people. I don't put people on a pedestal and believe they could never do that. I don't even think. I'm just listening to a dude's podcast. I'm not thinking anything about how he lives his life. I know he has 3 children. I know what's up? What we got?
Wrong. I'm sorry. I'm on the comment.
Oh, you wrote one?
Jerome said, y'all thought he was gay. He just a freak.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a whole nother thing. Like when people came out saying the man was gay, Shannon Sharpe if you look at the way he walks, I don't know. He has two hip replacements. Y'all know anybody personally with 2 hip replacements?
No.
Man, how they walk and position. You don't notice Shannon is always like leaning forward. Your whole life is different, man. How you walk, move, shift weight, it's all different.
Say choker.
People, wow.
All right. I mean, listen.
Say choker, bitch.
I respect everybody's opinion on that. It's just my, sometimes it's one of them cases where it's cool when they do it.
Because it's happening.
All right, but going to this Tops conference, right? And I think there was a couple of good things coming out of it. But the most clickbaity things to talk about who's not there in these Instagram posts and who you don't see.
Mm-hmm. People no.
Specifically, people sign out that you don't see any women there.
Yeah, no women, and really no people of color either.
No. And I got time to think about this.
Very limited. Go ahead.
And I will ask everybody to think, can you name 5 women or 5 people of different races that own a car shop, or that own a breaking business? I can't. I know Mama Breaks, Susie Sports, and that's the 2 Black Jade Wolf. Mm-hmm. I don't think she breaks, but I know she's very active in the hobby. That's like the 3 I can name that actually has a business that to be invited to the Tops conference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I don't know I don't know who has car shops. I know Prism God's the only person of color I know that does a shop 222 breaks. Again, yeah. I know them, but I don't know that many women or that many people of color, and I'm not talking about Black, I'm talking about Hispanic, Asian, whatever, that own car shops that could be invited, or own breaking companies that could be invited to this. I just personally don't know, and I haven't seen a lot of those people on Instagram either. So
that was the question I had as well.
Yeah, so I don't expect these people to be at a invite only deal to a Tops conference for their top accounts, basically. Mm-hmm. Now, I have a problem with people who say that it's not a big deal, because it is a big deal. Because we collecting cards of these people, and they're not represented in this field, and everybody else is making money off of it. So,
all right, hold on one second. I want to bring J Mike in. Right. We have our guest here, J Mike. J Mike, what's up?
Yo.
How you doing,
what's up, J Mike?
Doing all right, man. How's it going?
Hold on. My man hit a button.
Mm-hmm. I got a whole studio.
The whole angle. I can see, bro. You got a whole new studio.
No,
I'm loving this.
Yeah, we went all in.
I love
as they said.
So, J Mike, right now we're talking about there's a Tops hobby conference going on right now in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We're talking about representation at the conference as far as women and people of color. And Big Jon, you have the floor.
So I don't know how much you missed. So before when it first came up, I was upset because in my life experience, the people that run the hobby, the people who are the most influential in the hobby, concept of diversity is just women. In my business world that I've been a part of, that is literally the concept of what diversity is, right? How do you get more women involved? Mm-hmm. In the corporate world, even though the overall message is how do you get more people that look like, how do you get your place of business to look like the people that shop there? Mm-hmm. So that's a disconnect. So I was a little perturbed. But when I sit and think about it, I don't know many women that could be invited to this invite-only conference. It's not like it's a car show and anybody can go. Mm-hmm. I don't know many people of color who own car shops or own breaking businesses that spend big money with Tops that can be invited to this. Yeah. So in that respect, how can I be mad that they're not there at the show?
Yeah.
Right? It's an invite-only show of their top account people that make money, right? It's an industry summit to be of their tops people, invite only. It wasn't like, hey, there's a car show down the street in Atlanta tomorrow. Everybody show up, come spend money. So how mad can we be about this? And the conversation hasn't transformed over to, well, how can we seek these individuals out? Because I'm sure there's individuals out there that have breaking businesses, women, people of color, not just Black. I'm talking about Asian, Hispanic, everybody. Mm-hmm. How can we get more recognition to these people and more eyes on them so they can be there and be invited 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road? So the conversation is just not there now, but now how can we change it?
Yeah,
how can we support these people?
That gets kind of tricky due to the fact that then you're asking for an affirmative action type of program or a situation incentivizing. Let's incentivize young Black content creators and breakers, people who may want to be interested into this, bring them in. It's almost like you're being like chauffeured in a way. To me, it would have to be like a coordinated thing to have representation sent.
DEI, but let's not to get political, but factual is that affirmative action DEI supports white women mostly.
Oh no!
I'm saying. So
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? These programs, affirmative action DEI, the facts numbers show they support white women majority than any other demographic.
Well, I was saying that more or less, meaning there would need some sort of program to incentivize or show people that this could be something that that could work, because maybe a lot of people, like there are plenty of African American and women who have coin, who could afford to do breaks, who could afford to have collections, but a lot of it comes down to information. And that's part of why I switched my collecting habits to the space that I've gone into, because there was zero representation, but a lot of it had to do with ignorance. I didn't understand vintage like I should have. And once I started getting more information, when I came back into the to everything around COVID, I started doing research, and the more research I did, the more I found that it was nothing in the present day hobby in terms of like the newer cards, the shinier cards. I wanted to have more. I wanted someone to look at my collection and be able to tell the story of each individual sport. Like if you look at my cards tell a story. Tell the story of the NFL, tell the story of the NBA, tell the story of baseball. And when you change that information changed me. So if, let's say, for instance, we had some people who had finance, let's say rappers, football players, entertainers, and you show them like, hey, this is how much these people are making. Like you start breaking, these are the hard numbers. If you're able to show people like, hey, this could be actually something sustainable and has a future, it's not just cardboard, you can get more people to open up businesses. Maybe they might not be hobby people, but they'll be business people. But the information has to be there. So I think it has to be like a women's association, or Black Card Collectors of America. I'm more sure they have that. But I'm just saying, like, I think some of it just comes down purely to information. And if we had more people, and I wonder how many African American, I'm not going to talk about women because I'm not a woman, but I'm more than sure they have a bunch of African American owned card shops and breaking businesses. I'm more than sure they do.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we find this information about these people, right? And they may be good businesses, they may be bad businesses. We don't know, but we don't know because we haven't found them.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying they So you got a nice collection, right? Just because you have a nice collection doesn't mean you want to be a breaker. Doesn't mean you want to own or you want to be a car shop owner, right?
Yeah.
So how many people have the interest to do this full time and that grind of being an owner, the grind of being a thing? There's a lot of reasons why a lot of people wasn't invited to this invite only thing.
Yeah.
But instead of asking those questions, people are just asking where and not the why.
Yeah.
Right?
Ziggy
and then you want to get the why, let's get to the win. Right?
Ziggy has a comment here. I can't explain here nor would I publicly, but breaking is competitive. People do not want you to succeed. All breakers are like vultures for allocation.
Mm-hmm.
Many influencers are dealers, so it takes startup money. Same old problem. Plus, women probably don't think hobby is cool. Yeah, there could be many reasons. Mm-hmm. But so going back to Big Jon's point, where he said J. Mike is not a breaker, doesn't own a car shop, but he could be a great guest speaker on a panel, talking about a bunch of stuff. And I think it does go back to education. I always ask myself, I feel like it's my job to try to create some people that look like me that are in the hobby. How does that happen? Right? I go back to what my father did. He introduced me to sports.
Yeah.
Then he talked to me about understanding the game. And I usually don't even say it a lot, but he was the person that taught me how to understand who's the real deal in football, boxing, baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever it may be. What are the characteristics of those players, men or women, that exude greatness? He talked about this all the time. This is why I talk about this all the time. So that was an education there between my dad and I. And then that extended to, as I grew, we had more and more conversations about what is sports, how's it changing, all of that. And this is just like, I always say this, and I've had Ziggy on before, and I said that then, I'll say it now. It's like when you ask people, are you investing in the stock market? Or are you buying stocks and bonds? So what are you doing? There is a cloud. Our school systems don't teach that. You won't learn that anywhere. You could be busting grades out in school. You won't know where to put your money. You will know how to go to work and pay taxes. So how do you get that education on that end? How do you also get the education when it comes to the hobby, business side, collector side, what players to look for, what players to stay away from? It's the same thing.
There's actually, I'm a personal trainer by trade, and I work with these kids. And one of my biggest selling points is when I tell a kid, "Hey, dunk the ball. When you get the ball in the paint, drop, step, and jump and dunk." It's different coming from me because I can still do it. Or if I say, "Hey, I want you to when you contest with your left hand," I can physically go and do it because of who I am, right? But what I found is these kids do not watch the sport.
They don't.
These kids do not watch baseball. These kids do not watch basketball. I'm talking about good players. I'm talking about really good players. They do not watch the sports. Now, when I was a kid, I remember in high school, I graduated in 96, and I remember all the real athletes used to walk around with sports page. They used to have the sports page in their back pocket, checking their stats, checking out what other players did. And as kids, we mimicked our favorite athletes. We mimicked the batting stances. We mimicked the way players fielded the ball. These kids don't do that, because I was sitting up there talking to a kid one time, and I was trying to explain to him how Robbie Alomar flipped the ball, turned a double play, and the guy was just looking at me like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Second base, and you don't know who Robbie Alomar is?" And he was like, "Nah." I was like, "Ryan Sandberg?" "Nah." And I was just like, "Oh, this is different." Because they don't even they're just going off of what they like to do. That makes these kids even more special in a sense, because they're not mimicking greatness. They're just out there doing it, or whoever their coach or their trainer is, their handler, that's what they're mimicking. And even in my sport, I'm a professional power lifter, and I'm one of the greatest bench pressers to ever, to do it, right? And I don't
yes, he is.
Actually, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but
I can toot your horn.
I put a shirt on because I ain't want to, embarrass you with the muscles.
Deal, man.
I know it sounds, when people hear it, that does sound kind of crazy. But if I told someone in powerlifting, if I say, "Hey, this is how you do something, this is how you bench press," or if you want to increase your numbers, they'll listen to me, because I almost bench 700 pounds, drug free, under 300 pounds, and I have some stuff behind me to where they'll listen to me. But for the most part, these kids are emulating what they see on Instagram or what their influencer is doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird space for these kids to want to emulate something that's like knowing like the way you go about collecting. Like if I collect it with my heart, and this is actually funny. My favorite player is Jose Canseco. Like he was my childhood hero, but I played like Griffey. Like I was left-handed, all that stuff. But I love Jose Canseco. I would be an idiot to go out there and start a Jose Canseco super fan collection. That's asking myself to lose money. Yeah. Now I love Canseco, but I had to back away from it because I was like, wait a minute, I'm losing money because I love this player. And as much as I love, I had to step away from it and be like, I just can live off my memories. But if I'm going to be collecting, I'm buying Willie Mays. Yeah. And that was kind of the little stuff that I had to learn because I had to actually, I watched the Wade Boggs fan. He's a Wade Boggs collector. And he was saying how he was spending all this money on Wade Boggs stuff, but the Wade Boggs stuff isn't worth anything. And he's like a super fan. I didn't want to be in that position, and it made me hold up on my spending because I'm like, wait a minute. Sometimes you have to walk yourself off the ledge yourself because your fandom will get in the way. But this is knowledge, and if you don't have that knowledge, how can you expect to invest in a breaking business if you don't really know the true numbers? Like I started buying packs and boxes and stuff like that, and I was like, damn, I never get my money back. And I kept realizing, I was like, wait a minute, you don't get your money back. And I was like, well, why would you open boxes if you can't get your money back? And then I'm like, wait a minute, I can just go buy the single for a fraction. I can get the card that I'm looking for. That's right. So I was like, okay, this is an addiction problem. This is I'm a junkie. Like, I remember as kids, we would open up a 90 leaf pack of leaf, and we would get the Frank Thomas or get the Sammy Sosa or the John Olerud or whatever card from that set, and we'll turn around and sell that card and buy more packs. Mm-hmm. And that card was the biggest card you couldn't get no bigger than that. But we'll turn right around, take the money that they gave us because they robbed us, and we'll buy more packs. And it was like, wait a minute, that made no sense. But we did it as kids because we weren't informed. Yep. So I had to put myself in a position of being informed. Like I spent a bunch of money on starting lineups during the pandemic. I lost crazy on starting lineups because I thought it was something in it. So now I have a bunch of starting lineups. And I'm hope they have another wave hit like I predicted the first time, but it doesn't look like it's coming. But I bought over 1,000 starting lineups. You know what I'm saying? I bought mostly Kobe's and Jordan. And I bought the right ones, but it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So I think the education side is very, very important with all this stuff, man.
Totally agree. Well, the question becomes, how does anyone get more people educated on the possibilities of the business side, the knowledge of sports side? There's levels to it. It's like plateaus.
Yeah. What you said a lot. The last part, what you described, is the trial and error of the hobby. How you learn, like everybody's trial and error. I did this because when I came back to the hobby, I bought a bunch of 2020. In 2021 Series 1 baseball and lost money, didn't get cards, and thought facility autos, actual autos, because I didn't know better. Then now you look 4 or 5 years later, the cheap cards I buy are my PC, and the cards I buy something is to flip to make money and grade, just so I can fund my PC. I don't think you'd be a fool to start a Jose Canseco collection if that's your favorite player, but there's a smart way to do it to fund it if you don't want to fund it with your money from your career. Yeah. But again, my son's 18, and he was the same way we came to sports. I want to play football. Okay, let's watch sports on it. I don't want to watch it. Well, how you gonna get better at football if you don't watch football? How you gonna get better at basketball if you don't watch basketball? Like, you need to actually watch and see and understand the sport you trying to play.
Yeah, for sure. So that's crazy, but I think it just comes down to the attention span and how, because like, give you an example. My best friend is a Jewish kid. And I've known him since he was 24, 25 years old. He was a multi-millionaire. He was making millions of dollars doing fantasy football, and well, he wasn't doing fantasy yet. He was doing he had websites, and he used to do poker. Well, he's worth millions of dollars. He was like, look, he wanted to invest in me. Like, hey, you want to do something? You want to do a food truck? You want to, hey, I'll give you some money to invest in your clothing, man. I have a clothing company, Athletic over everything. And he gave me some money, to invest into my company. But he just did it like blindly. Like, hey, didn't look at no numbers, just gave it to me. Now, I said, hey man, I said, you should start buying cars. You should do like National Treasures, like the big boy stuff. And he was like, man, all of y'all gonna lose y'all money. He was like, that stuff is worthless. He was like, it's just cardboard. He's the typical, doesn't understand. And I was like, man, I was like, I was like, the amount of money that you lose gambling, rolling dice, or sports betting and stuff like that, you can make crazy money if you was opening boxes, like these big boxes and stuff. And he was just like, that stuff's not going to be worth anything. He just didn't believe it. But then I showed him on paper. I was like, yo, I said, look, check this out. Like, this is what's going on. And he was like, man, people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a Joe Burrow card with a piece of his uniform.
Oh, yeah.
So he looked into it. He wound up not doing it. But I had to show him. He didn't believe it. Like, if you tell people, hey, this stuff is worth money, most people just think you're like, yeah, right.
Like it's a Ponzi scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if my wife totally understand what's going on in this room.
Yeah.
She just see the packages. And it's just like, well, I don't tell her everything. But when I'm dead and gone, I'm getting stuff in order now to where it's like she don't give it to Goodwill. Right? Or throw it out, or whatever. I'm having to take those steps now. I'm getting older, and I was just thinking, I was like, my son doesn't care about none of this stuff. And I was like, I have a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? So I need to have it where it's like, hey, if something happens to me, this is where you send it. You'll get a percentage of whatever it sells for. So I had to start thinking about it. And that's also another reason why I switched my philosophy from buying. And actually, Ziggy's on here, and Ziggy was big on Prism Monopoly. And I bought 2022 Prism Monopoly. I did a lot of Prism Monopoly, and the way I got the Prism Monopoly was crazy. I probably had bought $4,000 worth of product at one point from Target, and I wound up started getting some of the bad batches where people were opening the packs and sending them back to the store. Well, they started sending some of those out, and I got a couple of them, and I wound up explaining. I get one in the mail, and I was like, hey, I just got this package, and I was like, it's open already. And the lady was like, oh, that's not right. I said, yeah. I say it's been happening a lot lately. It's been, stuff online talking about it and this and that. She says, how many? She says, so you mean to tell me that these packs you buy, people are opening them, taking out the good cards, and then send them back to the store for a refund? I said, yes. And she says, wait 1 minute. So she goes through and she says, man, you've bought a lot of this stuff. And she says, I hate that you weren't given a fair opportunity to get the cards that you needed. So she says, you know what? I'm going to refund you. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. She refunded every box I ever purchased.
I heard that.
And what happened is the Prism Monopoly they're not considered trading cards. It's a game board. So a game board you can open and return.
Right.
So when that happened, I had all this Prism Monopoly stuff, because I did get some good cards throughout the process. So I wound up getting caught up in the gold, the numbered stuff or the gold. So I did the entire gold set. I did the whole like the 500. I did the 500. I didn't do the 50, but I did the set. And the rookies that are in this set are really good. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy every time I see a Prism Monopoly. I'm gonna buy it if it's numbered. So I spent a lot of money on that. So the $4,000 that she refunded me back, I spent. So I probably had, $8,000 to $10,000 worth of Prism Monopoly that I opened and just did it for myself. So I have different sets of that particular thing. But in terms of new, I'm not buying it. It just became not worth it to me. So I rather have the history of basketball. I'd rather have the history of football. And even baseball. And baseball is a little touchy because I don't count baseball until 1948 or until Jackie, 1946, whatever.
I got you.
So it's just a difference. I think, like I said, it's just if somebody can get you up to speed and get people up to speed, that would help bring more people in and have better understanding. But no one's really trying to give you the game because, like Ziggy said, or whoever the person was, it's like everybody is in for themselves. They're not trying to bring nobody up,
True. So. Very true. Hector says TikTok is everything for youth now. They get news, music, trends from there. So before you came on, J Mike, I just want to make sure you get a chance to chime in on this. We talked a little bit about Shannon Sharpe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Big Jon and I were talking about there are other people. Now we're not talking about the R word. If he has done that crime, that's a whole nother conversation. But we're talking about the age gap between different parties in a relationship. And we talked about Mick Jagger, his girlfriend, Bill Belichick, his girlfriend. There are many examples. Share whatever comments you have on that subject matter.
It's a very dangerous time in America if you have coin. You have to be very careful because of the Me Too movement. If you look at what's happened to Puffy, and this is Bill Cosby, these are situations where if I went to Grambling State University, and I saw a lot of stuff, man. I saw situations, and I'm using this because it was a guy who was a big transfer from Louisiana State. He came from LSU to Grambling.
Okay.
And they had messed with this girl or whatever, and the whole it was like a real bad situation. But the thing was, the girls in the 90s and the stuff that used to happen in the 90s, girls get drunk or you'll throw a trash can, trash can punch type situation, and stuff happened. And what used to happen was just like, damn, that was a bad night. A girl, a couple of guys, and that's just what it was. It wasn't no you took advantage of me or whatever the case may be. And I still think that those things are going to come up. The 90s are going to get hit very hard because if Puffy's getting caught up for stuff that happened in 91, what's the 95, 96, 97, 98 guys? I think you're going to see more and more of those stories come up if the statute of limitations doesn't hit them. Also, you have to think about with Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is a dark-skinned man from is he from Alabama or Mississippi?
Alabama.
No, or Atlanta or somewhere. So it was somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you see those guys, I'm a dark-skinned male. I know I had to deal with it growing up that, oh, you're black, you're tar, you're not attractive, things of that nature. I didn't hear I was good looking until I really went to college. And I've been in Ebony, I've modeled, I've done all kind of stuff after my growing up in New Orleans, because New Orleans is about being light-skinned, curly hair. I wasn't that. So what happens is you go to college and a white woman is giving you a shot. Why am I going to go backwards to like come to you now because I got some money. And Shannon Sharpe, he's dealt with this because you also got to realize he had a speech impediment.
Yep.
Mhm.
I don't think people don't know or don't remember that, or really don't know when he was on CBS.
He struggled.
He struggled on CBS.
But I think a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people didn't even know that he played football. They just know him for that's crazy. He was when he retired, he was basically like a top 3 all-time tight end at the time he retired.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know that. So him dealing with mostly Caucasian women, and also the younger part of it. Shannon is in
56.
excellent shape.
56.
He's in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
If you put that kind of time into your body, why would you go settle for a 55-year-old woman when you look like a 25 or 26-year-old?
Naturally.
Well, I think he's on testosterone.
Okay.
But he's been a action figure his whole career, his whole life. But he was also extremely disciplined. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to him talk about why he liked younger women, those highlights or those cuts came out today. He was saying that a younger woman is going to go. I don't have to deal with her telling me no and this and that. The young girl going to go. That's what he said in the clip that passed around today. Mm-hmm. And he also was paying. So typically when guys used to pay, that used to give you some like, oh, I paid. Like I'm good. But when all this stuff came up, all these guys are going to get in trouble. All the people you fly in, like when you flew a girl out, like they say, that's trafficking now. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a bunch of guys getting married out of nowhere. It's going to be scary, man. It's going to be a scary, scary time. I say in the next 5 to 6 years, all those old cases who were at those parties. You see TD Jakes retired from Potter's House.
Yes.
That's about to come up.
First thought came to my mind is, why is that going on right now? But,
it's about to be bad, man. So if you got some coin, you better get married. That's what they're doing. It's a tough situation, man. I feel, and it's crazy because she did it before he got the money. She should have waited till he got the money. And there's also conspiracies going on that Shaq may have had something to do with allegedly putting a DJ Academics, because Shaq has been threatening DJ Academics, saying that he'll touch him and do all this stuff.
There's people after him, tighten them up.
Yeah, so when you have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of extortion, be very careful. Look at the stuff that's going on in LA right now with Big U, with all that stuff going on, because that's a RICO. All the people they've been extorting, they've been extorting people for years. They got records on who he was paying, like who was paying him. All these rappers, entertainers, for your safety. Stuff is about to come out, man. Everything's gonna hit the wall, man. It's gonna be bad. Next 5 to 6 years, you're gonna see a lot of people in jail that you're like, well, why is he in jail? Like R. Kelly wasn't the first. He wasn't the first. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be bad, man. So
Yep. Yeah, it is a rabbit hole. Very much a rabbit hole. Well, thanks for sharing your viewpoint on that. What else I want to get into? Catch us up on you, man. What's going on with J Mike?
Well, I think the last time I was on here, I didn't cut my 3 fingers. I didn't cut 3 fingers off and have them reattached. But that's
what?
Hold on.
Go back.
Hold on, J Mike.
Yeah.
Your hand, man.
Yeah. So part of the reason why I actually led with the shelves is because the shelves, I was building the shelves. It was the day after my son's birthday last year, and I was cutting wood in the garage. It was raining outside, but I wanted to finish the shelves so I can put my cards in them. And I was off about a half an inch, and I only had to cut off a half an inch of a couple of pieces of wood, and I didn't have to. And I was like, you know what? It was bothering me that I thought it was a little like oversized. So I was like, let me cut them. So as I'm cutting the wood is hitting my foot because I didn't have shoes on. And I was like, man, let's just go in the house, put some shoes on. And I was like, you know what? Instead of letting the wood fall on the floor, I'll catch the wood. That didn't work. The blade caught my fingers, cut everything. So all the tendons, all 6 tendons that go across. That's the reason why my numbers, like I haven't been competing.
Yeah.
So all the tendons went into my forearm, and I wound up not working out. Like, so I had them back. So I have some movement, but I can't. This is the most I can do. In the middle finger, so I could bend it. Like I can. Now this is progress right here, but I can't deadlift. I used to deadlift over 800 pounds. I can't hold the bar in my hand because, and also it's still new. It's been a year, but my bench press is it's probably right around 600 pounds, which is still pretty good, but it's not. I was an all-time great. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like trying to get back to that level, and I feel like I can't get there because there's still shorts in those nerves and trying to get that muscle mass back.
Yeah.
And I started trying to find other stuff to do. That's why I started playing pool again. And I've been winning pool tournaments and stuff like since January, since I started playing, pool, seriously again. And just trying to find something to stay active. I turned 48 this year. So it's like one of those things where I went viral. I went viral a bunch of times for my basketball dunking and all that stuff. And people are seeing those videos. Those are old videos. But I was monetized. They monetized me. Yeah. Actually, they monetized me after 50 million views. So I didn't get a chance to get the money off of those views. But a bunch of opportunity came. People were sending me like invites to come do celebrity games and do all these different things because of my jumping ability. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should lean more into, doing the basketball stuff again versus, me still chasing the powerlifting stuff. So it's just been like a hard thing to like wrap around. Like I'm getting older. And I'm still like powerlifting gave me an out. Like, I was still competing with the best lifters in the world. I'm drug free and I'm a big dude, but for what I do, I'm small. So the guys who are like the best in the world are 450 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm 290 with a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And I'm 15, 20 years older than these guys. Mm-hmm. So for me, I kind of like that. But once I got hurt, it was like, damn, I was like, I need to find something else to do. And I was a very good pool player when I was younger. And I just started playing pool again. And I've been doing well, been winning tournaments and stuff. But getting like, I know my ceiling with pool. I know how good I can get. And, and I it's good. I match up well. Pool's like, you find somebody that you could beat. You don't go after people you can't beat. Like I'm not trying to fight Mike Tyson. I'm not trying to fight a gorilla.
I got you.
If you see me playing them, you should bet with me because that means I think I can win. I'm not trying to find Earl Strickland or find a hard opponent. You know what I'm saying? So that's just been kind of my my thing. And then I think the last time we talked, I still hadn't sent it to you.
Yeah, that card. Yeah.
A rookie card. Yeah, one of the few collectors that actually have a professional rookie card, but it was supposed to be some more cards come out. The guy kind of he didn't know anything. He had no information about card collecting or about the hobby, but he's put a bunch of money into the product, and it didn't work for the most part because he was trying to sign people to contracts and all this kind of stuff. And what I did was I said, you know what? Give me the product. Just give me my card. So I have my rookie cards and they can be graded. So I'm about to start getting them graded. They can be graded now. So I bought the card. I have my own card. So I sell them on my website. So I probably made more money off my card alone than what he's made as the business owner.
Understood.
Because I understood my worth. Most people didn't. I told people, I said, listen, don't ask him for $10,000 because you're not going to he can't get that money back. But if you think you're that hot, you just get your cards, sign them. So I sell my cards for $7 raw, and $15 autograph. And I sell a couple a month. It's not crazy money, but it was a limited run. It's a certain amount of cards, and I have them. You know what I'm saying? And they're recognized. I think SGC, Beckett, SGC. I don't know about PSA, but I know Beckett and SGC recognize them. You know what I'm saying? So I just did that. But anyway, back to the shelves. So I was building the shelves, cut my fingers, had to do the rehab and everything. I'm probably gonna have another surgery if I want to improve where I am now. And the problem is that I had a bad scar tissue. So the scar tissue didn't allow for the tendon to slide in and out the tunnel.
Yeah.
And if I have the surgery again, it made scar tissue bad again. So I'm just right back in the same spot. So I've just been trying to work through that.
Is there any way to avoid scar tissue? Is there any way to avoid extra scar tissue?
Well, the scar tissue. So like if you have a doctor cut your hand open, the chances of getting your scar tissue, having a bunch of scar tissue, is going to be limited. But the fact that mine happened with a dull circular saw blade, that was going to leave scar tissue. You know what I'm saying? So there is a chance that they could fix it, but it's just that right now I'm be out another 8 months. So I'm like, let me just thug it out this year, because I still want to get back onto the platform for powerlifting. Still want one or two other things I need to accomplish, and then I'll take the chance probably early 26 to see, having that fixed, because at this point I'm ambidextrous for the most part, but I'm left-handed. Like I write with my left hand, so I had to I wasn't doing any writing. Little small things I just couldn't do, like shuffling through cards and stuff like that was really hard. Just super awkward, you know what I'm saying? So now I've become used to it almost. I've learned how to work around stuff and stuff like that, but it was bad, man. Like I'm sitting up there like, wow, I almost cut my fingers off. And it was the only thing I was holding on was the little bone. Like everything else was cut. And they almost let me bleed out in the hospital, because I should have just fell on the floor. But when I was like, nah, they were like, we'll be with you. They had me wait like 2 hours, blood everywhere. So I was able to make it out of there. And, hopefully, like I said, we get have the surgery so I can actually complete, just flex your hand. Because you don't realize how you're able to articulate your fingers in different ways until you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Small. So hopefully, everything comes back, but I'm still able to, still lift weights. I was supposed to start hitting baseballs again. I played college baseball. So I was supposed to start doing some content with baseball and stuff, but my hands weren't healing properly. So it's just like, I just had to let everything go. I didn't touch a weight for 8 months.
I know that's hard for you, man, because you're a very active person.
Yeah, I haven't been active though. So it's like I lost a bunch of muscle mass and stuff like that. So it's just tough, you know what I'm saying? But once I realized, listen, Jason, it's okay. You're not like I went to the doctor's office, and I was like, this kind of stuff don't happen to me. And she was like, sir, I'm more than sure you're a terrific guy. You sound like you're a terrific guy. But she was like, every day in the city of Houston, 100 people cut their hands off on a construction site, at least 100 people a day.
Absolutely.
So she's like, I'm more than sure that it could happen to anybody. It was just a freak accident, and this so happened to happen to me, So it was crazy. And then I had to we remodeled the house, and my garage got remodeled too. So everything out my garage had to go outside so they can to redo everything. And now I'm bringing everything back, and I came up with doing the setup and everything. But
it's a great look.
Everything just kept happening, man.
And I wish you the best with your hand and what's going on.
Yeah,
man. That's. See, I don't want to do housework now.
Hey, I had to get back on it, man. Like I told the doctor, I say, hey, I have to get that circular saw back in my hand, because if not, I was having nightmares. Like I'll wake up, or if I see a commercial and they're doing construction work, I flinch or jump still to this day. So I had to use that circular saw again just to get it out of my head. You can't go out like that. You know what I'm saying? So my wife's just like, Jason, put the damn saw down. I'm like, nah, I got to get over this because I like being handy. You know what I'm saying? I like working on the stuff that I do. So I built all the shelves and stuff like that. And I felt I had to do that. So I was able to get over that fear. I was able to finish up my shelving and my cases and all that stuff. And it's so funny. I spent more money making them myself than if I just would have bought some shelving to house my cars. But I wanted my car shelves to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
So, about this last time.
Yeah. So it's just a tough spot, and it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
So now walk us through, sir, your camera setup there. Like,
okay.
Are you running a podcast now? What are you doing? Walk us through this.
The plan was to do a podcast. So I went and bought like the Rogue Rodecaster video. That's the switcher thing. That's what you see here. I have five cameras, like DSLRs.
Yeah.
And you can control everything. But with this thing here, you can do like for what you guys do. Like, so say for instance, if I wanted to run my computer, I can have my computer as a scene, or as I could put the computer, a live computer in the corner, and I can do all my research or have whatever notes come up on the computer there, or I can have an intro come in to where I can roll from one camera to another, or I can send, like, say for instance, I have monitors here. I have a huge I have a TV and I have a monitor, but I could show, like, say for instance, I have camera 2 and I might be getting something ready. It'll show me what's live on the feed,
okay,
but it'll have what's coming next too. So I went and did that. I had the Shure mics.
Yeah,
this is a monitor as well. This gives me all of my feeds with like everything, like my levels, microphone, all my stuff that's on the Rodecaster. For what you do, the Rodecaster would be amazing. The only problem is it doesn't do 4K. I don't know if you run 4K, but it does. If this thing did 4K, it'll probably cost $10,000 for everything that this thing does.
Yep.
But I bought it. It was like one of the, it's like, I think it was one of the first ones that they, when it came out, I was like one of the first people to buy it. But I bought that. I have studio lights, like full on studio lights. I did the recliners, and the funny thing was, I was like, originally, I was like, I'm never gonna have a second. No one's ever gonna come here and do an episode with me. But I would like wanted to have it set up with two chairs.
You have another chair over there where you could?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So like the other chairs.
Okay.
So it's like the full thing. Then I had the sign made. The sign. I found a company online on Instagram, and I was like, I wonder how much it costs to get my logo done. And I think it was like $250.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet, something like that.
Okay.
So I just did the whole little setup, and I was like, all right. So I ran lights, because the lighting behind the cards is something I always never could get right.
Yeah.
I have puck lights under some of the shelving as well, but I hadn't run the wires for them. But each of the cars have their own puck lights and stuff like that. Because I was just trying to figure out how to display my cards best as possible for me anyway, So I just came up with it, man. I was like, damn, I'm gonna really make it to where it's like a nice little surrounded by cards. Because I actually, like I said, watching a lot of the lists that come out when they say top 50 players of all time, top 75. And you start looking at these lists and you're like, Dwight Howard is better than George Mikan. Dame Lillard should not be a top 75. Anthony Davis should not be a top 75. And then they'll be like, who's Gail Goodrich? Who's Elgin Baylor? you know, you'll hear guys say like, let me see, I don't know if it's the camera. This is a Moses Malone rookie, PSA 8. This is a nasty card, by the way. But this is a PSA 8 Moses Malone rookie. And I'm sitting up there like, I want that. I started finding that like getting the history of the cards started making more sense to me. And I was like, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. And for forever, people ask me, they'll be like, what do you collect? I was like, collect baseball cards. And I started looking at my collection. I'm like, it seems I'm more of a football card guy, because football, you can actually afford to participate in the curation of the sport. Baseball is far too expensive. You can for basketball as well. I've gone heavy into the 1969 top set. But you know, like I said, you know, baseball has a wicked history, a very wicked history. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna start really collecting. I started looking at 1948 as a good landing spot for me to buy. Like you know, you got this is a Bob Feller rookie.
Yeah.
Warren Spahn rookies. And you know, the Warren Spahn is big because he was a Don Russ puzzle piece when we were kids. So you know
Didn't know that.
Spahn, if you bought that night, that was that 90? It might have been 80, 89 or 90 Don Russ. So I started connecting with that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I started looking at the values of the cards. They don't go up a lot, but
it's a steady climb.
They don't go down either.
That's right.
So I was able to participate at a high level and not have to worry about losing my money or getting my money back. And it just spiraled into, you know, finding out, like, you know, if you know anything about the cards, you know, the Pepto-Bismol Bob Gibson rookie card, you know, the Pistol Pete rookie card, you know, like that's behind me, you know. Reggie Jackson, I had the opportunity to talk to Reggie Jackson about 2 or 3 months ago at my gym. We talked for like 30 minutes and we talked about his collection.
Oh, he
has a monstrous collection. And he knows it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like talking to him and stuff, you know, he's like, he lends his collection out to museums and stuff like that, but he also sells it.
Yep.
And seeing Reggie in person, I was like, no one knew who he was at the gym. And I'm just like, are y'all just gonna walk by the legend?
Oh, people
they're like, who is that? I was like, he's one of the greatest living baseball players on earth.
Yes.
You know, so it was just cool, man. And I just started getting into this stuff and started like finding out who these players were. Like, okay, John Havlicek. Look at his numbers. John Havlicek was a monster.
True.
Monster. I'm sitting up there like, oh, all NBA.
Sometimes he was coming off the bench.
Yeah, but that was towards later in his career. But 8, 9 all NBAs, you know, 25, 26 points a game averages and stuff like that. So I wanted to get those players who were in those top 75 lists. And that's what kind of sent me down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, Hector says I collect boxing cards of the history of forgotten greats.
Well, I had the Rocky Marciano. Actually, I sold the Rocky Marciano rookie card during COVID for $2,500 ungraded. Whoo!
What's that card worth now?
Probably about $150. I thought, but I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that must be like the Mickey Mantle card for 1950 because it's a ringside boxing card.
Because some of those cards were highly produced. Wasn't ringside highly produced?
The issue with that card is some of the cards were hand cut because some of them had like a perforated corners and sides and stuff. My card wasn't perforated, and the guy who bought my card owns a sleeve company. They make card sleeves. I can't think of the company's name, but they're like the most expensive sleeves you'll ever buy, and he negotiated their price. And I was like, when I sold that first, I thought I made a mistake, but I started seeing it pop up, and I'm like, oh, that card is I did pretty good on that deal. You know what I'm saying? So I sold it to him. Yeah. That was a good deal. But I was buying the box and stuff. But when you get into that stuff, I'd rather do that versus the new stuff. Or the new thing that I'm getting into now is the 2009 gold set. Because 2009, 2010, or 2007 with KD. Yeah. KD cards are so cheap.
They are.
I just started picking them up. Like, I just got this in the mail today. This is a Beckett review.
Mm-hmm.
This is like I think I paid $15 for it. It's an 8.5 Beckett review. But LeBron's card like this is worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not that much. He's an all-time great for sure. He's not that much better than Durant. Not thousands of dollars. So I'm thinking at some point he may get a thing where these 8s and 9s, be worth some money because he's gonna finish top 5 all time in scoring. It's gonna be some stuff.
A key might be where he goes next and finishes his career. What does he do?
That's so tough, man. He should have never left Golden State.
Should have never
left.
Draymond talk you out of greatness.
Draymond cost them at least 5 championships. Actually, I was talking to the guy at my gym today. He actually used to train Cam Ward, the guy that I was talking to.
Cam Ward, interesting.
But he trained Cam Ward for basketball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard he was a basketball player.
Yeah. But he's not a tall guy. He's like 6'1", can't jump. He's not hyper athletic or anything. But we were talking, and I was saying that he cost them 2 live championships. Where if he didn't get kicked out that one game, and then having Jordan Poole should still be on that team, they would have been in contention. But then I wouldn't even think. I was like, damn, he made KD leave. So they would have probably won 3 to 5 championships if they just kept the team together. That's crazy. And I love Draymond, but I think they should bring KD back and get rid of him.
Get rid of Draymond?
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
That's probably not going to happen.
It probably if it came down to getting KD or getting rid of Draymond, I get rid of Draymond.
Let me ask you this question: what's up with the Lakers? What's wrong with them?
They gave away a center. They could have had a center
for
who they had to take back in the trade. They rescinded the trade.
No, they got Luka.
Yeah, they got Luka, but they could they Mark
Williams. That trade got rescinded.
Yeah, that was a separate trade though. That was a separate trade.
That's what I'm saying. But that would have solidified them. That would have put them in a position to defend. You can't defend with LeBron trying to play the 4 and 5 and Rui. He's like Jackson Hayes is your number 1. I mean, nah. They just
I don't even see Jackson Hayes in this series.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you need somebody that's going to be on the court. I mean, they have too many. They're not big enough right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. And also watching LeBron just go to the corner. It's kind of weird. LeBron looks like he's checked out. It's like he's playing well, but it's like he's almost like he's out. It's just weird watching him not have the ball and watch Luka do the Luka thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just tough, man. I don't know where they go without getting a legit big. They could have used Dwight Howard.
Yeah, but Dwight had some choice horse for LeBron, so that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on Luka Doncic? What do you think?
Great player. I hate watching him play.
Why you hate watching him play?
I don't like the pounding of the basketball. Like the way he does it. Like, it's not like he pounds the basketball and then does something athletic. It's like a boom at the end. It's a pound the basketball, fadeaway jump shot, which is fine. It's just my personal preference. I'm more of I'd rather see Zion dribble the ball than go to the hole and try to dunk on everybody. That's my personal preference for basketball. But he's an amazing player for the fact that, and then the fact that the way he plays, he could probably do that for another 15 years because he's not athletic and he gets to where he wants to get on the court. It's almost like Joker in a sense. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that he's able to do what he does without being athletically gifted is crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like especially being somebody who's been hyper athletic their whole life, I know the opportunities I got just from the fact that I could jump high. But to imagine how good you have to be to not be able to jump or be that fast and still do whatever you want on the court, you have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like the top.
Yeah, you gotta be able to shoot.
Everything he wants besides play defense.
Yeah, well, they don't pay him to play defense. You know what I'm saying? You got to have somebody else do that. But it's tough to watch them. Like when you judging these guys, like is like the top 10, like all-time top 10 lists are going to look so different in about 5 years. You have to start kicking people off these lists.
Yes,
Luka's going to kick somebody off that list.
Yeah.
And
I don't agree with that.
Hold up, you think Luka finishes top 10
all time? Yeah. And not just because he's that good. He gets bonus credit because he's white, man. European, that has to count for something. And to be honest with you, the big man up there in
Denver.
Somebody got to go.
Somebody gotta go. He's legit.
Somebody got to go. I honestly.
So, where would you rank Jokic in top 5 for top 5 centers?
Oh, he's most.
Does he kick out? Yeah. Does he kick out Shaq, Elijah One, David Robinson?
David Robinson out of here.
Out of there?
Yeah, but not Akeem. Akeem is the last. Akeem is a monster, bro. Like it's gonna be hard. I think Akeem is ahead of Shaq for sure. Judging Wilt and Kareem is so weird in a sense because when you look at just the pure career, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has something that no one will ever have. He had 4 high school championships. He had 3 college championships, but he had a red shirt. Well, they had to play JV his freshman year in college at UCLA, and has 5. He has 5 or does he have 6 championships? 5 MVPs. His numbers are crazy. And when you see that, you're like, no one's ever going to have that. But when you just look at him, the stuff that Joker does is like, it's unbelievable. He's passed up Russell. I mean, and it sounds crazy because Russell has all these championships, but Joker would have killed them dudes. Now Shaq would have destroyed him on the offensive side, but Joker, and he's probably going to win another MVP. The man had 60, 10, and 10. Like,
one thing to say about Joker though, he doesn't have a lot of dominant centers in today's game. No,
he doesn't.
So Shaq came in 92 with a bunch of people running around.
Oh yeah,
Joker doesn't have that.
And not only a bunch of dominant centers, but a bunch of strong power forwards.
Oh yeah,
Larry Johnson and them.
Right. Davis brothers. Yeah, I mean, it's a different time.
Different game.
Yeah, if you look at like, do you really like? At some point, you like, man, back in the day, good defense. And somebody says fouling people real hard isn't good defense, and I was like, you know what, that is kind of true. A lot of that stuff was just super physical, you know. But like, I just watch. Like Joker plays point guard to me, and he's more of a point.
He does.
But the guy's amazing. Like Sengun, like I love like Sengun. I think he's a top 3 big man now. Like,
Draymond's putting clamps on that.
Man, Draymond getting dunked on. Like Draymond, he scored 33 that game.
Yeah, but he scored 6 points. He scored 6 points on Draymond.
Yeah, look how many shots they're going to.
Did you see where the points came from? So, Chet, Sengun, even you Bam, Jaren Jackson Jr., I think they all the same player. They can't fit. How you 7 foot tall and can't finish 2 inches in front of the rim?
But
I don't understand.
A 4s though. Chet's a 4. Chet's a 4. Like a 4-3. He's just tall.
Yeah, all these tall guys, like Sabonis and Sengun are the same player to me.
Yeah, they are. I believe that. Yeah.
Like I watched that game last night, and I knew Draymond was going to stop him because He did the same move for a quarter and a half without Draymond in the game. Switch to the smaller defender from the left side. Spin move into the paint. That's what he did, and that's how they got back in the game. And I knew Draymond knew that was what he was going to do in that last play. That was the play call.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he's initiating at the top of the key as a center. I actually like that.
That's cool. He just doesn't have a lot of post moves.
Yeah. That's not my brand of basketball. I don't like. I prefer my centers in the paint, pick and roll, and dunking. But I get it. It's the new age of basketball.
Like Zion,
does the same thing.
Zion should be a point guard. Zion should be a point guard. When point Zion is unstoppable. He has the ball. He passes well enough. Like the stuff he started showing towards the end of the season, I think that's what his position is. Like him getting the ball and you good luck stopping him.
What team does he play with next? Because he won't be back in New Orleans.
That's a tough situation. I'm from New Orleans. And like this year, I look at it, I don't look at this as a typical Zion hurt year. They held him out a lot trying to protect him.
Oh, yeah, but they couldn't play him back-to-backs.
Well, not even just the back-to-backs. Even the way they ended the season, he could have come back. They pulled the plug. They don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah,
so
they want to protect the investment as it walks out the door.
So it would have to be a young team. It would have to be a team that so the Rockets have capital. OKC has draft picks and capital and young players, stuff like that. It would have to be a team where they can get 2 to 3 first-round draft picks for him.
Would you give that up? But J-Mac, would you give that up, fam?
Zion's my guy. Now, you know Wiseman, your guy? Zion's my guy. So
I would
Houston.
Yeah.
You're giving up all that for Zion from Houston. If you're Houston.
I think Houston's actually, I think Houston's set up better for Kevin Durant to go there. Like give up Cam Whitmore, and Ford. They have like 5 or 6 first-round draft picks, something crazy. Them and OKC have a crazy amount of draft picks. But they're saying, like, for Zion, I just think Zion is a great player. Like, I just don't know what that looks like in terms of trade value, his contract. Like, I don't know what that looks like sensibly. You know what I'm saying? I would think New York, not New York now because they got Cat, but I always thought that that would have been a good place for him to go before they got Cat. But the dude is unstoppable, man. Like,
I got 4 players to ask you about.
Yeah.
Trae Young, because he's on the move. LaMelo Ball, he's probably on the move. Ja Morant. Well, let's make it 3 because you just talked about Ja. So Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Ja Morant.
Giannis.
All these players are probably on the move.
Oh yeah, Giannis. Giannis tried to fight everybody tonight.
Giannis going after something because somebody said we can talk about Giannis. Somebody said something to Giannis that made him get way out of Giannis's character. And it looked like I was just watching this as we're talking.
Oh, with how
he told Catherine to say it right now.
He put Mathurin in his armpit.
Yeah, bro. He couldn't move. He couldn't move. And then when they tried, Obi Toppin came in and tried to separate him, he was still telling him as he was holding him to say it now.
Yeah, that's that was like the kid, the bully at school. The kid got bullied all year. And now
I noticed that when this popped off, Mathurin kept stepping back, never stepped forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm still in the playoffs. I'm not about to throw a punch, but also I'm not. I don't think nobody.
It's all relative time. Pacers won't be in the playoffs for long. It's all relative.
Yeah. I wouldn't want that smoke either. But LaMelo, I just saw I watched the 520 podcast. That's like one of my guilty pleasures, and they were talking about LaMelo misses more. He misses just as much many games as Zion.
Yeah, they're the same players as far as games missed. Yes,
it's like crazy, and this is like I wonder. Like Zion, technically, like he would benefit going to Miami for that structure.
Can you play him and Bam? You gonna play him and Bam same time?
I think you could. You could. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think no one is really trying to go to Miami at this point until Pat Riley leaves.
Pat Riley has stained that organization.
It's time to let that go. But I just think the structure of it, like him, like realizing, like, hey, I could be a Hall of Famer if I got myself together. Like, he lost weight, like as a personal trainer, as a big person, I can tell he lost weight, but he doesn't have an impressive physique. He didn't lift weights to lose that weight. He lost flat weight. Yeah. That type of weight's not typically good. It's not backed by anything. He just, like, if you look at him, he looked drawn, like he looked suppressed almost. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see him, like, take the LeBron approach, like really like hone in, like really like hey, this guy.
But J. Mike, do you think he's ever done that since he's been playing basketball?
No, he hasn't had to.
That's what I'm saying. He's leaned on athleticism.
Yeah, but not having a guaranteed contract, I believe, would probably get your mind right too.
I would hope, or get you going.
It looked like he turned the corner this year. I just think now when you start having those jumping injuries, those hamstrings, stuff like that, it makes it really hard. And like I said, he's one of the few people. I'm one of the few people that understand what he's going through in terms of jumping. I was 315 pounds doing 360 windmills at 40 years old. When people see that, it's hard for people to wrap it. Like, how do you do that? It's something when you're jumping and you have all that explosiveness. It's hard to control it. And it's like you never jump. You never take it easy, because every time you go to jump, you have to hit the hammer every single time. Yeah. And that's what gets him in trouble, is because he has to put so much effort into jump, because he's also not tall. He gets his shot blocked a lot, because he's 6'5", 6'4", something like that. It's hard to finish in them trees, man, when you're that size. And he has to go hard every time, because he's going to the hole. He's not shooting. He's going to the rack.
Well, J. Mike, he's going to go to the hole because he can't shoot.
Yeah, he can't. But
yeah, there's no jump shot down there. I'll tell people all the time, he's a bigger Grant Hill. Same player.
Man,
weighs more.
That's tough, man.
I think he's a bigger Julius Randle without a shot.
Don't ever do that. Don't do that to that man.
Why?
Julius Randle is trash.
He is trash.
Trash.
He is trash.
Hey, I don't know what Minnesota was thinking trading him for Cat. I don't like Cat's game either, but that was a terrible trade.
Yeah, it was just shifting loot around.
Yeah,
but hold on. So you talked about LaMelo missing games. Trae Young, what you think? He's a small LaMelo.
Yeah, I honestly thought he would have been good in San Antonio before they got Fox. But I think it's just tough, man, because he did show this year he took a step back. He played more of a pure point. But the problem is he's 145 pounds, man. He gets picked on the defensive side.
Yeah.
So it just makes it hard to pay somebody at $55, $60 million a year. And but he plays though. He plays.
Yeah, he's not missing out.
He's been durable. So that's tough. But who gets a player like that? Like
Brooklyn, maybe?
Who?
Brooklyn, maybe?
He's in a better situation than Atlanta.
Yeah, but you know that.
Yeah, but Atlanta don't want him.
Yeah, Atlanta's gonna give that up now. He's done.
It would have to
now, be. But hey, Mike, I asked you about all these players: LaMelo, Trae Young, and all these other guys, because I think they're all in the same boat. Zion. Where do they go that they fit in at? Because they're hard plugs. They're hard players to take from here and put here and know you're going to be successful. You don't know that.
No, you don't. But I think those kind of players, for the most part, they don't fit in nowhere. You have to put people around them. That's the difference.
That's the problem.
So if you're a player like that, you're going to have to put a team around. You're taking them from one situation, putting them in another situation. Mm-hmm. Like Trae Young and I don't know what Phoenix is going to look like next year, because they have to get rid of a bunch of contracts.
Probably the only person staying is Bradley Beal.
Devin Booker's
I think they're gonna buy him out. He's gonna have the most expensive buyout of all time.
Bro got no trade clause.
Yeah, him and LeBron. It was those two people that had that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever his agent did, they did a great job. But I wonder. At first, like I was looking at this with the Dominican Republic players and stuff like that in baseball. They don't care about the Hall of Fame.
No,
they don't care about America. You know, that's why they take steroids and or whatever. They get suspended. Who cares? It doesn't. They don't care. If I was Bradley Beal, I would have stayed my butt in Washington. I would have averaged 32 to 33 points a game, made $50-60 million a year, and I just wouldn't be winning. Because now he's looked at as like a scrub or a bad contract. If he would have just stayed in Washington, he could have just kept putting up those empty points and going on about his business. He's never going to win a championship. Like, especially as a prime player, and you don't get credit that role playing that Bill Walton championship type guy. You don't get props for that.
The Gary Payton championship?
Yeah, you don't get credit for that. I don't want that. You know, so I would just go and get my money and put my numbers up. That's kind of how I would have done it. But now he's in a situation where he might get bought out. If he goes, he could be like a CJ McCollum, third player type thing. Because he's still, I mean, is he 30 yet?
He's I can look him up, but I think that's all he should be is a third option. Bradley Beal's not trying to lead
on a winning team.
Yeah, on a winning team. I think that's all. He's 31.
Yeah, because you see these guys like Cam Thomas. I like Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is going to shoot that thing.
He ain't going to play no defense, though.
He's not going to play no defense, but he's so offensively gifted to the point where I hear people talk about, yeah, he'll be good off the bench on a winning team. And it's like, ain't nothing about that to me. I see bench player. I think it would mess him up as a bench player. He's also one of, like I said, I buy very few new guys. He's someone I invested in some little money because when he was not playing, I thought I saw a highlight reel of him. I was like, man, that kid could play. So I just started buying up all his silvers, all his silvers and stuff like that. But I just want to see him just. I think he could score 30, 34 points a game if he stays healthy, because he doesn't mind shooting. Like, he's a shooter. Like Jordan Poole, I bought a bunch of Jordan Poole. I love Jordan Poole too, though. But Jordan Poole is not a shooter. Jordan Poole plays with the ball. Mm-hmm. Cam Thomas is rifling, like straight up Chuck Person type. Like, he's shooting that thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. So for me, I enjoy players like that. So I don't see him like going to Golden State or something like that, trying to be trying to win a championship.
You can't just be a rifleman and Golden State.
Shit, you see what's happened to Buddy Hill?
Gotta do a little bit more. See how his game has changed now?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jimmy said, if I see him dribbling, I don't like it.
Stop.
I don't like it.
Well, let me ask you, since we went to Golden State, let's talk about the greatest point guard of all time.
Is he a point guard?
Yes. So who would you say is the greatest point guard of all time? Is it Magic or is it someone else?
It's still, as a kid growing up, it was always Magic, Isaiah, right? Mm-hmm. Especially for my time.
Yeah.
What they're doing now is not a point guard. Draymond's the point guard. So I'm confused. It's almost like you have to create that combo guard. The combo guard has to be, I think he's the greatest combo guard of all time. The greatest point guard is still Magic.
So what's a combo guard now?
I think the Al Iverson's combo guard, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard.
So you're saying a point guard that shoots?
Yeah, like they're not even running the sets. Like Draymond runs the set. Like he's not bringing, like it's nothing traditional about it. They don't even guard the point guard.
Well, J. Mike, traditional play is over with. It's like a dinosaur that's in the ground being dug up by archaeologists. It's over with. So the last traditional point guard was CP3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. After that, this is a different brand of basketball. We got to embrace that. Should we embrace that?
No. So what I say is you retire, just like they do at like when the rules change, like in powerlifting, when the rules change, they retire all the numbers and they start over. So I think the old point guard should be retired, Magic. And then you come with the next iteration of it, and it'll be Steph. I don't think you can ever compare them point guard for point guard because that's not what the game is. It's different. Like it's a completely different thing. Like I was listening to Jeff Teague today.
Great
and
podcast.
They were talking about how many actual two guards they have in the league.
Not a lot.
There are not a lot of two guards. And I heard it, I was like, damn. And then they start naming the greatest two guards of all time. And I remember before all these new guys, before Kobe and all that emerged, Clyde Drexler was considered the second greatest two guard of all time.
He was.
Yeah.
They said on the podcast today, they was like, man, this Clyde Drexler, he out the top 10. They said Klay Thompson and they had Reggie Miller at number 5 or something crazy. Reggie Miller was never better than Clyde Drexler, ever.
No.
But it's like they just like skip. All right, let's just skip past it. To me, I think it's like, you know how they do before Reconstruction and with history and stuff like that with the periods and stuff. I think that's kind of how you have to view Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, all those things. I think you have to look at it for their time. And it's just like Steph Curry is the quintessential point guard of the modern game. But you have to look at what happened before him and stop it. You can't apples to oranges and all that kind of stuff. I think Steph Curry, for what the position has evolved in, he's the best of all time. Now, if you told me like Kyrie Irving, I personally don't think nobody's better than Kyrie Irving. Is he the best basketball player? No. But just roll a basketball out and have guys play with it. There's no one I would rather see play basketball than Kyrie Irving.
I get it.
Just the pure baller. You know what I'm saying? But in history, he might wind up in the top 100 players of all time. Yeah, he has a shot. If they do it when they get to the 100 years of basketball, he may get into that. But the history of it, when you start listening, like Allen Iverson or the way they assembled those teams back then, there was no other player on the team that could get shots up. Steph is actually Klay Thompson didn't care who was on the team. Klay said, "I'm getting my shots." They said, "How are you going to be when you're not you have to take less shots because Kevin Durant." He was like, "I'm not taking less shots." Who's taking less shots? When he said that, I was like, "Damn!" I
remember he said that.
And Steph has played with players with that mentality and still been able to do him. So I just think it's just unfair to put him against a quintessential point guard versus what he does, because he doesn't do what they do. The assist numbers, like Kyrie doesn't assist the ball like talking about it. He doesn't. Is Luka a point guard?
Well, all of this, technically he is, yes. But all of this is because the 3-point shot. So everything changed. There's no more assisting. There's no more feeding the post.
Yeah,
your assist numbers are going to go down. Your scoring is going to go up. So I have Steph Curry as the greatest point guard of all time.
Who's your great? I imagine it's Jordan, greatest two guard, right?
Yes.
What about 3?
The best small forward?
Yeah, LeBron.
It would probably be LeBron. Yes.
4.
Because other than that, before LeBron, to me, Scottie Pippen was something totally different. Best 4 in the game ever?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tim Duncan.
Okay, fair. And the 5?
I think I'm gonna go Shaq or Kareem.
Wow, no Olajuwon.
This is
the thing about Olajuwon to me, right? He did it. He was elite for 5 years.
5.
He wasn't elite with Ralph Sampson. No, sir.
Ralph Sampson wasn't better than him.
No, I'm talking about what Hakeem was, and Hakeem really played the 4 in that offense.
Yeah, he was a little raw. He was raw.
Yeah. So he wasn't elite that we talk about for maybe a 5-year time span. So I can't give that to him. In that 5-year time span, there's no other center that's better than that.
So what's the 5 from 90 to 95?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Think about before 90 what that dude was doing. He was averaging 20 points a game, but it was a different type of. He wasn't doing what he was doing in that post. And I watched a lot of Hakeem.
But he was also the best defensive center in the league, too, during that time.
I'm not. Yeah. But because he was playing the 4. And he was swatting.
How long did he play with Sampson?
Most of his career when he first started, when he was still Hakeem, Sampson was there.
Like 5 years?
Very similar. Yeah. This is very similar to how Tim Duncan played with Dave Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I just bought the Hakeem recently.
That's a nice card. I wanted that card.
I got it in the 8. This is an expensive card. I remember when I had all the cards in 9s, and I sold it for $90. I sold it for $90 in 2018.
Yeah, that blew up. Yeah, that blew up.
Now it's like $1,000. Like then
that card got up in the PSA 10 to almost 20-something grand at one point.
Yeah, I just bought the Drexler. Got the Drexler in the 8 too. See, I like finding a sweet spot with these. Like with these cards, I get them in 8s.
Yeah.
So Joe, that's my question, right, J. Mike? Does grade matter for what you're collecting?
No.
For you? Because I see whether it's SGC, PSA, that doesn't really matter for what you have behind you. So grade doesn't.
So what I do is I look at the card. So like, and the other thing what I like about vintage is that you can have a 5, you can have a 4, you can have a 3, you can have a 2. As long as it's appealing to you it still has value. So it takes out the feeling robbed. So like I could grade I have a bunch of cards I want to get graded by SGC, and most of them are vintage baseball. If they come back 3s and 4s, I'm ecstatic. But if I send a bunch of modern, ultra modern in, and I get 7s and 8s and 9s, I'm gonna be mad. So for me, like give you a perfect example. Gail Sayers. I have a couple. I have like 3 of them. But it's a SGC 4 old label, but it's centered well. It's the color's good on it. I started adjusting my mind frame around it. Like if you look at like Paul Warfield, one of the greatest players of all time in NFL history. This is a PSA 7. This is a super expensive card.
That's a great card.
But I hunted this card down, found it. It's perfectly centered. And I look at it for that kind of stuff. Like if I'm looking for certain cards are nice looking cards or super fly cards, I tend to want better grades on them. But with vintage, I'm in that good 4-5 range with my cards. You know, like Paul Hornung was always a player. I was a Notre Dame fan. So getting this in a PSA 4 was a nice card. The Bart Starr in the same set in a PSA 4 is a really expensive card, almost $1,000 card. You know, but I feel safe, buying these kind of cards, spending, $100 to $300 for cards, and they won't lose value. And I still have and then everything is so condition sensitive with some of these cards, like some of the 70s, this is an Artist Gilmore in a PSA 7. PSA 7 Artist Gilmore. Look at the centering on it. It's a nice card. I paid up for it though, So I started getting more into that kind of stuff. Like finding out like this right here. This is actually a funny card. Gene Shue. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He is the inventor of the spin move.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is a PSA 9. It's a 1957 Topps. I was like, damn, the spin moves. Like, so if you're telling you talk about someone who you can't tell the story of the game without the person who invented the spin move.
Yeah.
So I had to get it, you know. So that's kind of how I got into some of that stuff. But the grade, I actually personally, for my vintage, I actually prefer SGC.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's going on with the sale. Peter has been out the way for a while. I have a feeling that they're like, I think that SGC is going to stay around, but I think they're doing things to the brand to shrink them, because they weren't really fighting. They weren't like close to PSA, but it felt like a rivalry. Like they were trying to be better. Like we could get these turnaround times better than PSA. It felt like they were going at them. Now it just seems like they're just existing. You know,
after the acquisition, there's going to be some changes.
Yeah, but someone actually said that they believe Peter is going to wind up running PSA, and I think that would be good for the hobby.
Where do you think Turner? Where's Turner? Where's Turner going?
He could do something else. He's not Peter. Peter's great with, like, he does the media stuff. He knows what the collectors want. To me, I think it would be a good move to have him go to PSA, because some of the stuff that PSA misses, SGC does very well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a stopgap. Like I think it's kind of crazy. Like some of the premiums, for some of these cards, you pay so much more for a card because PSA graded it, but they don't grade vintage well. So why do I'm not obsessed with having a PSA card, you know, like see if I can find it. Like I got into these are actually the tall boys.
Oh, the rulers. Yeah,
the rulers. Now I started getting into this stuff. Now the SGC version, I don't like the holder they use for the tall boys, so I will buy them in PSA. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the card a lot with me. You know what I'm saying, in terms of you know, what I look for at that stuff though. But I try whatever's going to give me the best deal. You know, if I get a good deal, I'll go with that. You know, I'm not a PSA snob or anything.
I got another hot question for you. Does Steph win 5 and retire with 5, and LeBron retires with 4?
Now, all right. So this means that Steph stays in Golden State.
Yeah.
Steph
there might be people coming to Golden State.
I hope. All right. So I'll say one thing. I hope he never lets LeBron play with him. LeBron wants to jump on one of these, like, if he wants to jump on a, like, hey, let's win a chip together so he can catch Kobe. I don't want him to do that. Now, Steph, if you put Steph with any good team that's already good, they're going to win. Like if Steph went to Houston or OKC, or like Steph is like the ultimate. Like he would have to literally want to end his career in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? So I would say Steph has a better chance to win another championship than LeBron does.
I agree.
So I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. So this has been my boy. And I said all year long, if Golden State got Jimmy Butler, they're winning the championship. And I'm not backing off that statement.
Big John did
playoff Jimmy is a thing.
So you think they win this year?
Yes.
And what's helping them out is that the team they match up the worst against are the Clippers, and they're down by 20 right now. And probably Denver's going to put them out.
Man,
Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is a different animal.
Yeah, he's do you think he's better than Kawhi?
Do I think he's better than Kawhi? Skill wise, no. Performance wise, yes. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think his ferocity and wanting to win is greater than 99% of the league. And this is the first time where he is actually saying, "I will be number 2," since his first 3 years in the league playing behind Derrick Rose.
Yes.
Everywhere else he's been the alpha. He's been the alpha for the most part. Even when playing with Joel Embiid, he was getting let them in gear. And if one for that one shot, they'd have won it that year. So Kawhi had a heck of a career. He got 3 championships. He's way more talented than Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. But you telling me that Kawhi could have took either one of the two Miami teams to the finals?
It's a different. I think they're very similar players, though.
Yeah.
Jimmy has that dog in him. You know, he feels like Colorado. He'll have a D on his sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy's nasty, man. I just think they're gonna. I think they don't have a big, and I don't like what they did. I don't like what they did to Kuminga, man. I don't like that at all.
Well, what did they do to Kuminga? Hold up, let's talk about this. What did they do to Kuminga? That Kuminga didn't do to himself. What did they do to Kuminga?
They, Gilbert Arenas said it. If he didn't take that contract, they weren't going to play him. He didn't sign the extension. They stopped playing him to mess up his money. Now, I think he was in a funny situation. He should have took the 100. It was 100. They offered him 120 for 4.
Something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He should have took it because everyone said, if you don't take that contract, they're going to not play you and they're going to lower your value. And then when your value is lowered, they're going to match the contract. So now you're going to play 4 years for 80 or 4 years for 60. And
in a few weeks here, he's gone, right?
Gone where?
He won't be in Golden State.
So this is the thing. If they wind up, if his value is so bad,
mm-hmm.
they're going to match the offer.
He won't be in Golden State, J. Mike.
Well, hold on.
This is just like Jordan Poole all over again. They're going to ease him out the door.
No, but look what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They're going to match the contract and then trade him. They're not going to let him go and not get no compensation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're going to match the contract and then ease on down the road.
Yeah, but now he's in a screwed up contract. So for me, I don't like that. I wish they would have played fair ball with him. It looks like they kind of had him by the balls and was like,
when Jonathan Kuminga comes into a game, what do you see? When he came to the game night before last, when Jimmy was hurt, what did you see?
I don't think he hadn't played. He hadn't played in weeks. It's hard. It's hard being a professional.
Why Leonard didn't play for 3 months?
That's a different game. Like if he's playing, he knows. Think about the pressure he's under. If he would have went there and cooked, they wouldn't have allowed him. They actually let him go out there and just let him say, oh yeah, he's lowering that value. Go out there, keep shooting. But if he would have went there and scored 35, they'd have been asking questions why he hadn't been playing. But they kind of like proved it right in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I think it's hard.
I believe the young man has. What's the best way to say this? Because I don't want to say attitude issue. I believe he thinks his value is more than what it is.
I bet he did, but they also said they stopped coaches from working with him. Like he don't have like they've taken resources from him at the facility and stuff like that. Like he got railroaded, man. He should have took the 120.
Also, we don't know what this dude acts like every day.
Man, people.
I would say this. I feel where you're coming from the business standpoint of it, but if he was balling, they wouldn't have traded for Jimmy. This is the problem. Moody fits better. GP2 fits better. They run the system better. They slip out better. When you watch Game 3, the reason he was getting loose and not finishing at the rim with nobody around him, he has no body control once he gets loose.
He's a
whereas GP2 slips, layup, easy body control. Moody, easy body control when he slipping out. And I think for what the bread and butter play is made for him to sit and run in and get 10 easy points a game, and he just can't do it. Whereas Moody,
jump shot doesn't have a consistent
GP2 can do it, and I have Jimmy. I don't need you to play. I don't have to give you the small forward minutes when I can play Jimmy 40. And I'm gonna bring Moody in for the other 8.
But he's broken too, though, man. I early in the year he was playing well. I think they broke him. I think he's a broken player.
I never considered the business side point that you brought up, but I see that when to break them. But that's also the NBA.
It is the NBA, and also like when you're playing, like it's different when you're doing something. Like I'll give you an example. Like in my sport in powerlifting, I had sponsorships. I always had a bunch of sponsorships, and I didn't like how I was being treated in the sponsorships. I started asking for more money, and they didn't want to pay me more money because they were like, no one cares about your weight class. The weight class that I'm in is not a popular weight class. And they were like, this is what we're going to give you, take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, that's how y'all going to do me after all I did for y'all? And I had other companies who were negotiating against them. And when I turned down the big company who like, there are companies that are like Nike and Adidas for us in powerlifting. And I'll never forget this day. I told them, I said, you know what? I turned down the contract from the Adidas contract. Let's say the Adidas brand. And I go back to Nike. No, I had turned down the Nike contract. I was going to take the Adidas one. And when I went back to go get the contract, they said, what happened with Nike? I was like, nah, it didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. And they said, you know what? Everything that we told you was going to do for you, we're not doing it now. And I was like, why? He said, you have nowhere else to go. I was like, they said you've been sponsored by every company in the market. You can't go back. So this is what we're going to give you now, and you're going to do this. And I'm sitting up there like, wait a minute, this just flipped on me like that. So you know what I did? I started my own company. Mm-hmm. I put up my own money and started my own stuff. But I was crushed for a while because now I'm not just lifting because I'm lifting because I have to represent a brand. It got to the point where it actually hurt me because it affected me. I'm lifting for my life. So if you're in a contract situation and you know every time you shoot, you have nothing you're doing is free. Mm-hmm. Every shot is a big shot. He's pressing out there. Like you watching him stumbling and fumbling around. With a 40-inch vertical doesn't miss layups like that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the business of basketball broke him. Listening to the Gilbert when Gilbert Arenas talked about it the first time, he revisited what he said, and he said exactly what was going to happen. He said, "Let me tell you how bad the game is." He says, "If he kills, it's going to make them look bad. So they're not going to put him in any position for him to look good because it'll make it look like they could have been winning, but they put him in this situation." But then they said, well, if he plays bad and his number comes down, he could be like, hey, don't re-sign me. Like, let me go to another team offer sheet. That number's going to get so low, they're going to be like, we know he's a 20-point game scorer. We're going to sign that offer sheet, and now we got him for $60 million. Now they can trade him because now he's a low contract. No other team is going to put out a big deal because they know Golden State is going to match it. So they just put him in a bad spot. So if you know your career is on the line, yeah, you're going to be messed up out there. Yeah, you're going to be fumbling the ball out there. You don't know. He might be having mental health issues over that. Like he's alluded to that.
He's alluded to stress and health issues, and he's talked about them.
Shit, like they were talking about with Shedeur Sanders. Somebody was saying they had mentioned it to me at the gym. There was like he handled that so well.
He did.
What happened to him? They said with most players, they'd have been on suicide watch because no other player has ever lost $30 to $40 million that fast.
But because Shedeur is already financially taken care of.
Well, that too, but still, you don't want to lose 30 to 40 million. But his family situation is a little bit different. But when you look at Shiloh, you heard what Shiloh said, right? Mm-hmm. He said, "I'm getting an agent because having dad as agent that didn't work." Mm-hmm. And hired Rosenhaus. So it was like it's just a different situation with these guys, man. And when you see how like, because, and also this is something else I just realized, and I was saying this, another reason why I collect vintage. The players today are so much more athletic. They're so good. There's so many players. They got players in the G League that are really good players that probably could be in the NBA, but they can't break it, right? So what you see now is these guys have a 3 to 5 year run. Then after that, their replacements are coming that fast. Whereas back in the day, guys had 10, 12 years to play, and then the next group came.
Yeah.
These guys now are getting knocked off within 5 years.
That's because guys are not going to college anymore. They're coming straight out.
So you're not going to have these guys that have these glorious years. You're going to have a bunch of guys with the Blake Griffin run. I think Blake Griffin's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah, five-time All NBA. 6 All Stars.
I mean total
champion.
I mean total points.
Huh?
I mean total points, career points.
Probably 17, probably.
Go ahead.
But you also have to look at the NBA. The basketball Hall of Fame is the easiest Hall of Fame to get into because it also includes your collegiate career as well, and give you credit for being the first overall pick, dunk champion, All NBA. If you're All NBA 5, 6 times, that should make you a Hall of Famer. To me, anyway.
So Blake is 19 points a game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Reggie Miller, you know how many points Reggie Miller averaged?
Throughout his whole career?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 18.
That doesn't sound like a lot of points.
Well, he was another guy that ramped up. That's what I'm saying. We talk about Hakeem, we talk about Reggie. There's several players back in the day that had a career that ramped to what we know them for. Didn't start like that.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like when you think Ray Allen, how many points you think Ray Allen averaged?
Oh, man. I would say about 14, 15.
Now, I think like those guys like Ray Allen and Vince Carter stand out the most to me because they stayed on too long. Like Vince Carter stayed on 5 years too long. His career numbers are like his average is really bad. It's not what you think it should be with what he was because he stayed on for 5, 6 years too long.
Hey, Ray Allen is 18.9 points a game.
Yeah, that's not right. Like you think Ray Allen, you think 25, 26 points a game. But
after he left Milwaukee, he wasn't that dude.
Yeah, it became a role player.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you judge? So like when you look at the best years of Blake Griffin, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, especially for what it is, you know.
Hey, Zerny, thank you very much. It's always good to have J. Mike here, and it's always good to have Big Jon in the house.
Yeah, it's a good conversation, man. Glad to get to talk. Gotta do this again.
There you go.
J. Mike, you know we got to have you on often.
Yeah, man.
You always bring a different kind of energy that I love up in here.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Shit, I've been spending all this money on all this stuff. I need to use it.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
You got that studio looking tight, man.
Hey, man.
Jordan says me and Mr. Athletic over everything agree on a bunch of stuff. Do you, Jordan? Yeah.
Hey, man. I don't know, man. I think the perspective is a little bit perspective, and like the one word I always like from the first time we talked about representation. That was one of the big things that we talked about at that time. And I just remember I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch you, but I wanted watching most of the vintage guys.
Mm-hmm.
And representation, there's no representation for the African American card collector on the vintage side. Like you rarely see it, you rarely hear it. Sure. In terms of like having like what to buy. Like because these kids don't know what to buy, like Monty Irving. Like that's he's
right behind. Right behind you.
Yeah. What made him so this card right here got me hooked on him. Now, this is considered one of the most beautiful cards of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened is that I heard a guy talk. This white guy was talking about Monty Irvin's 1952 Topps card. He was like, this man was so. He said he called him beautiful. Now, black guys don't really give other guys. He'd be like, yeah, we ain't about to go through all that kind of stuff. That ain't really our thing. But they're like, oh, he's so handsome. He looks like a movie star. All this kind of stuff. But at the time, I didn't hear the name. I just heard him talk about the player, and he was saying he was a good player. He helped Willie Mays, integrate into baseball. Like he actually helped him, like he was his big brother, for the most part. And I'm hearing him talk about it, but I didn't know exactly who he was talking about. And one day, the card came up on eBay, and I looked at it. I said, I wonder if this the guy they were talking about, because I saw the same thing that guy saw. Mm-hmm. He looked like a movie star. And sure enough, this was the guy he was talking about. He was talking about Monty Irvin. And then when I started doing more research, he should have been Jackie Robinson. He was a better player than Jackie Robinson. He was military, he was educated, but he had PTSD, so he wasn't mentally stable when he came back from the military to be the first African American in baseball. Yeah, that's why he didn't go, but he would have been. And I also, playing baseball and stuff. I had talked to a Negro League player when I was in college, and he was saying how I was like, man, Jackie Robinson, how good was he? He said he wasn't a top 25 Negro League player when he got called up.
I've heard that as well.
I heard it. I was like, wait, what? He said he wasn't a top 25 Negro League
player. But what he was a good player who could get in front of the media and represent himself a certain way and take that heat of racism.
So what happened with that is that's what changed my perspective on these players, these legendary players. When you hear people talk about how great Babe Ruth and all these guys were, and I'm sitting up there like, wait a minute. Once the African American ball player and the Cuban ball player and the Dominican ball player came up, they were the MVPs. Mm-hmm. They were the greatest players of all time. So you mean tell me they played against inferior competition? So I don't want to hear about that number. So we're gonna talk about baseball from 1946 to 1948 on up. That's how I'm doing it. So when I look at it, so you start talking about Satchel Paige, like you think about how great Satchel Paige was. He gets called up. 1948, he wins Rookie of the Year. They think he was listed at 46. He could have been in his 50s. And when he got called up, he was Rookie of the Year. Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, like all these guys, like you just name them off. They were the best during that time. Willie Mays was better than Mickey Mantle. Mm-hmm. He was better than Mickey Mantle. So I just started looking at it from a different lens, and I started saying, you know what, I want to do the hobby from the other side. Now, if I can only afford fours, like I look at actually it's pretty funny when what's his name, Jeff Wilson, he does the vintage pickup, like he does the collector, what he called the investment card of the month. Uh-huh. And when he pulls the cards, it makes it so unrealistic because he'll get like he'll pull the Walter Payton rookie card, right? Mm-hmm. He'll get the Walter Payton rookie card and be like, in a PSA 9. I'm like, who's getting a PSA 9 Walter Payton? Like, who's spending $7?
That's a lot.
Yeah, like, so the cards he picks are like these crazy, like, wait a minute, who's spending $13,000 for a card? Like, so it kind of puts it in a situation where the way he expresses, like way he's doing it, he's introducing vintage, but he introduces it in a way to where it's not realistic. Who's gonna, like, I'm not paying that much money for an old ass card that I don't relate to. So I look at it, I was like, you know what? I want to find my spots with these cards. Like every once in a while I'll splurge and spend some better money. Like I'll say, you know, I'm gonna go for, instead of getting a 4, I'm gonna get a 7, like in the 70s basketball stuff, or something that will cost me a couple of $100, because I like living in that 50 to $250, $300 range, but I get good deals on cards. So like I might spend $300, but the card last sold for $500.
Yeah,
you know, I'm more in that range, and for me, it just seems like I'm not losing. Like investing money, like every time I remember when you were getting all those Wiseman cards.
Mm-hmm.
I bought Wiseman too. I bought some Wiseman.
Oh, you and I talked about it.
Yeah, I bought the Wiseman, but I was just like, damn. I was like, I invested that much money in Wiseman, and he may not ever get a shot. Mm-hmm. It's like it's just money gone. And I was like, I don't want to be on that side of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna find the players who are considered the best during their times and see if I can collect those cards. You know, like I'm starting to go through the Celtics run. You know, this is Bill Sherman, 1957 Topps rookie. I bought it because I'm like, all right, he's one of the greatest 75 of all time. Get his rookie card.
Yeah.
You got Sam Jones rookie card, 1961 Fleer rookie card. PSA 5, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Casey Jones rookie card. Like I started going after those kind of cards, and to me, it just made me feel more like my collection was walking. It's like even though
the roller coaster, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, like I get the cards that of the guy who was the guy, instead of getting like a Wemby card, like the what's the card that was $10,000 a box?
What was that?
Topps not midnight, but
Mercury.
Yeah. At first, I thought that I almost bought a box of that, and I'm sitting up there like I was like, man, this might be a good deal. Then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, this has no shot at being good. And now the prices have crashed on.
Oh yeah, you know what's gonna happen. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like,
they got napkins in there. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, the basketball unlicensed look crazy. I don't know why they look so bad, but the football doesn't look bad.
You got a basketball right here. You're like,
yeah, but the football doesn't look bad though. The football actually looks decent.
I agree with that. It does not.
So in terms of buying the new stuff, what are you buying? Like what are your strategies right now going forward? Like, are you buying boxes? Are you buying singles? Like what you got going on?
I stay in a straight single zone. I look for only certain players. So right now, I would only buy Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Steph Curry.
You've been on Shai. I know you up on Shai.
Yeah.
I remember. I was like, I didn't like his name. Like I didn't like how I couldn't pronounce it.
You and I on the same boat. I got a friend that told me about Shai as rookie. You're like, dog, you got to watch out for this dude. He's the Clippers. And I was like, you talking about the dude with the 3 last names? I love
you probably, because you've been talking about him for a long time, so you must have some. You probably got some bangers.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said earlier, I started getting into the gold cards of some of these guys. Drew Holiday's gold card, the regular Topps gold card. But yesterday, I won DeMar DeRozan's gold card in a PSA 9.
That's a nice card.
$52.
That's a nice card, sir.
The last sale was like one something.
Yeah, you know.
DeMar DeRozan is going to be top 10 all time, scoring points total. He may not win.
He's the last of the mid range.
Yeah, he may not. Shai.
Oh yeah, Shai does it, but he just does it differently than DeRozan.
Yeah, so I got into that. I got into that bag. I got Blake's gold card.
So what do you think of Shai? When we talk about modern, right quick, what do you think when you see Shai and his game? What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah,
he reminds me of a '90s guy.
Yeah, he does.
Like even the way he moves and stuff. It's like
pop, off glass. Yeah.
Yeah, everything looks good. Everything is smooth. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a refreshing.
Yes.
It's a refreshing game.
This is not that bounded. It's not that. You don't see this dude screaming.
Yeah, he chilling. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate his game. I like the fact that he gets they changed the game when they started forcing these guys to shoot threes. Like it has to be in your game. Like, don't tell me shooting a bat. Like, I forgot who it was. They said they got cut because they refused to shoot three. Melo.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying how they were like, they got rid of him because he refused to shoot threes. And it's like, that's not his game. Like, get the 2. But they're like, nah, the analytics say, because, you know, funny thing about the analytics, I was doing table tennis before I did powerlifting. that was like I got into table tennis hardcore. And the greatest American player in table tennis lives in Houston. And you'll never believe who his best friend is.
Who?
Daryl Morey.
Oh, really?
So one day I'm at the table center. This is actually pretty funny. So I'm at the table tennis center in Chinatown, and Daryl Morey comes in and goes, "God damn, what the hell are you doing here?" I'm all jacked up, 300 pounds, muscled up. I'm playing table tennis with God damn, I got his name right quick, but I'm in there playing. I'm trying to think his name, but we're in there hitting balls, and Daryl Morey is a massive guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Daryl Morey is like 6'6", 300 and some pounds. He's a big ass dude, and
You're not little at all.
we're in there playing, and the phone rang. So he was like, "Hey, J Mike," he was like, I gotta take this call." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I'm sitting there, and he comes back. He was like, "I just got Dwight Howard." He completed the trade of Dwight Howard when I was playing table tennis with him.
Interesting.
But that was cool though. But damn, that was a super crazy time. But he was always talking about percentages. Like if you talk to him, he'll be like, percentage wise, how many people look like you based on such and such? And he talks like that. He talks in percentages. Like, so if he says something, he's like, 50-50. Everything is a number when you talk to him. And I didn't know that he was a big analytic guy at the time. You know, I just thought like, and then afterwards I found out like, oh, okay, he runs the Rockets, and then you start hearing about how he thinks, but he thinks life like that. So him saying to Melo, "Stop shooting threes or I'm not going to play you," makes sense to me now.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, that's how they run things. It's all about numbers. Then they got a team of people that's crunching numbers all the time and giving them some kind of updates. I think that's how it goes. So if you're a player, that's why you see certain players get lost in the mix. If your three ball don't go up, you know, you just but that's what I'm doing, J Mike. It's just singles with certain players.
So what you think about Cooper Flag?
I think he has to prove himself. I don't know if I see his game translating to the NBA.
I think he's going to make card prices skyrocket because people are prospecting and chasing.
He's going to do that. But then 5 years down the road, what are people going to be looking at? That's the question.
I think it's a tough spot because no matter what you do, they're going to expect more. Like if Wemby would have won Defensive Player of the Year if he'd have just had the games. Like he was clearly the best defensive. Yeah. Like he was the best defender last year too. But his value is so built into him being the greatest of all time. You're going to run into situations like Mahomes' rookie card dropping after he wins the Super Bowl type situation with these guys.
Yeah, you set up on that point. Yeah.
So it's like, how do you collect these guys? Like that's why I said it got so frustrating because that was another thing. Watching Patrick Mahomes' cards go down after he won the Super Bowl, I'm like, damn. Like,
well, you know, there was so much hype built in that it just couldn't maintain itself.
Yeah, but how do you expect to collect when that happens? Like that just means wait till after the Super Bowl then buy them.
Yeah, you gotta wait it out. Yeah, but
if you're collecting, that's when you're buying.
Yeah, well, right? Yeah, you should. But I'm just saying, like, if let's say, for instance, I bought his PSA 10 silver, and I bought it this year, and he wins the Super Bowl the following year, the card goes down. Like,
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hype on Mahomes at one point, so it's going to go down.
They got like 10. They got 10 Super Bowls built into his price.
Well, like, there are people right now, like when Joker won the first one, everybody was running around talking about Dynasty, so people stopped buying up a bunch of Joker. That's probably not going to work out for him.
Yeah, well, Joker has one thing in his favor. There are very few Joker cards. Period.
Oh yeah, when
his pop record is terrible. Like there are very few.
Like Giannis. There's not only a lot of Giannis rookies running around.
Was Giannis rookie year all silvers?
That's when you had the silver. Yeah, that's when you had the silver. That was the prism, and then he had some stuff in some retail packs that were different colors. That stuff is not easy to find.
Was it the combined year?
What's the combined year?
Yeah, one. It's either Kyrie was one of those where they didn't have rookie cards his rookie year.
Oh, Kawhi was like that too.
Okay, so it's all 2012. The 2012. Yeah, because I started getting some of the Kyrie. I've been buying Kyrie's. I wish I would have bought Kyrie after he got dropped by Nike, because what you saw happen to Kyrie, actually, what you saw happen to Kyrie kind of is what happened to Shedeur a little bit, in the sense that people are saying how Kyrie is a beautiful person. I'm not saying Shedeur is like they're saying that about him. That was kind of a bad example, but they're saying that Kyrie is like a beautiful human.
I've heard
and
that.
for the fact that he's been ridiculed the way he did was unjust.
It was.
You could have bought those rookie cards for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're actually picking up in value now, but he tore his Achilles or no, he ACL.
He tore his knee up, ACL.
So I bought a couple of them, but I wish I would have had more confidence. Him and Brunson, because I could have bought a bunch of Brunson cards, and some told me like, maybe not, because they were trying to give him $55 million.
Yeah, but Jay Mike, I think that's going to be the move. There are going to be some guys that's going to get drafted, like a Brunson, and you're going to start to see their career materialize 5-6 years in, and that'll be the play when you didn't even really pay attention to this guy before. He was just a player behind Luka. So as we talk about hype and we talk about Patrick Mahomes, you can talk about Luka cards.
Yeah.
Very hype. He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't done anything. Went to the finals. Really hasn't done anything. So if he doesn't win a championship, and it's looking like it's starting to look like something right now. Now you've been moved to LeBron. A team gave up on you. I don't see a difference in his appearance and physicality from a physicality standpoint since he left Dallas and went to LA. That dude's doing the same stuff. Whatever that is, he's doing it and doing it well.
Man, Luka got the big joker though.
What's the big joker?
He white.
Yeah, I get all that. But at the end of the day, if you're white and you haven't won a championship,
but he battling these brothers, like it's something to that. I hate the race card like in that situation, because he don't give five nothings. He goes at people. He embarrasses.
I get all that, J Mike. But if you end your career after 12 years and you have 0 championships, what has history told us?
No, you're right. But does he have to be the man on the championship team?
Yeah, he's going to have to be the man on the championship team. Yeah. Who gets the scapegoat out of that? Nobody.
Bill Walton.
He's going to have to be the man. He can't be the man. And then reality becomes reality.
So that like the Jason Tatum effect. Jason Tatum is a boring player, right? They were talking about how his value, he's not valued in a hobby because he does everything right. He's very fundamental. He's not gonna dunk you. He plays on a team where he's not even the alpha. Jalen Brown is the alpha on that team.
Yeah,
in his own mind, because he kind of has that Clay mentality. Like, oh, I don't care what's going on. I'm getting my shots. He don't care like Tatum's on the court. So it makes it kind of funny why Tatum's cards aren't valued.
Jalen is more like Kyrie from a personality standpoint.
Yeah, but he's won too much. When he had 35, 8, and 10 tonight.
Oh, that's cool. But like I tell Big Jon, he also went to the finals in 2022 and shot 30-some%. And he's not going to shake that.
He needed that MVP.
Oh, he's not going to get that. That's not his game.
No, I'm talking about the finals MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Remember the game?
He could have gotten it.
The game before they clinched last year, he had a horrible game. You just can't get a finals MVP with having 2 games in a series where you're not playing well.
So who you think is going to win it this year? Or you think Golden State's going to win it?
Yes, sir.
If they don't win it, who do you think they're going to play in the final?
Doesn't really matter. It'll probably be Cleveland.
You think Cleveland's going to beat Boston?
Yeah.
Man,
I got Boston going.
Man, Boston have so many guys, bro.
Okay.
Like Pritchard won.
You do know if Orlando had one more scorer, this is a totally different series.
Or I think Orlando messed up not playing Cole Anthony enough.
Why didn't they? That's what I don't understand. He's not hurt. The other day I was watching. He carried them into the play-in. Like, why is he not playing?
Because they didn't pay him. They paid Suggs.
But Suggs is hurt.
Oh no. But I mean, he wasn't the person they appointed. Are they playing the rookie Black?
Yes,
Black?
Yes. Black played every game.
Because they were saying that Cole should have been playing. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna give it a week, less than a week. Orlando's coach is gone.
Who's their coach down there?
I can't remember his name. I just saw him at the post-game press conference there.
Because what's called got paid. Wagner got paid, right?
Who?
Wagner.
Yeah.
So what's called? So that means Paulo's up.
Jamal Mosley is the head coach.
Is Paulo up next?
I think so. Yes.
So you got two bigs. Either they're gonna have to, because they have a bunch of people the same height. That's the other thing they're saying. They have too many guards. I think. Well, KD couldn't play with them. That'll be too big. I don't know.
KD, and someone earlier said Trae Young to Orlando.
He would have to abandon his whole game. He'd have to be a pure point.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Jordan, you don't think Orlando's coach is going to get walked out? We shall see.
They're ahead of time. It's hard. Like with some of those teams, when they're ahead of schedule, it's hard to fire the coach. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're making bad mistakes, like you see, bad coaching. Like they're firing coaches who won championships. These owners don't care no more.
And then we're going to see, is Denver going to beat the Clippers without their coach?
That's crazy.
Think about that.
I wonder what that was about, though.
Probably something that had nothing to do with basketball, just like Shedeur. But that had nothing to do with football.
Oh, the Shedeur situation?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, J. Mike. What do you think of Cam Ward? When you hear the name Cam Ward, what comes to you?
I have an unfair bias with him.
Go ahead.
Because he used to train at my gym.
Mm-hmm.
And from all accounts, he is a super good kid. Like,
I believe all that. I'm talking about throwing that rock. I'm talking about taking the snap, throwing the.
He is he's talented.
He's not a number one pick, J. Mike.
Who? Cam Ward?
Yeah.
He's the number one pick in this draft.
Yeah, but he's not a number one.
He wouldn't have been a number one. He would have been the third quarterback last year.
Yes, they were talking about. Some people were saying third and fourth round last year.
Oh no! I mean, when you compare, like, if you take him this year and put him in last year's draft, he would have been the third quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so what do you think of him as a quarterback?
I think he's going to be okay. I think the fact that he was a 0-star recruit.
Yep.
And made those transfers. He's stable. He has a girlfriend. He comes from a modest family.
Notice how I know you know him, but notice how you have not talked about football yet.
And I'm saying, and the reason why I'm saying this is that those things, there are small things that help you where other things wouldn't. Like when you come from, like, the way you come up gives you certain opportunities. Like he's going to be given more leeway to mess up and make mistakes because of how he comes off and how he comes across. He has arm talent. He's athletic, but he's not a freak. He's athletic like Mahomes. He's going to have his receiver from college. I just honestly, personally, I like Shedeur better.
Yeah, so do I. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, Jay.
Okay. Because I watched every snap of Shedeur.
Yes.
And the one thing that I noticed watching him is how tough he was.
Yes.
All that prima donna stuff and his watch and all that, that dude was getting hit dead in the mouth.
Blazed. Yes.
He stared down the barrel and threw that ball.
Yes.
I don't know who was coming or whatever happened. He delivered the ball.
Yes.
Shedeur also, he was running for his life for 4 years. If he had any time, if he played in Oregon's offense, he'd have had 7,000 yards to pass.
That's right.
So, only problem with him is that they handled the process poorly. Obviously, they didn't handle things properly. What I believe is that this is my take on him. Yep. I think what happened to him is, one, he didn't have an agent, and since he didn't have an agent,
his dad was his agent.
But he didn't have anyone working the back channels to let him know, bro, you're not in position not to throw at the combine. You need to not have your headphones on in the meeting with the Giants. You need to. They installed the offense. Told him what the offense was going to be. He came there not prepared. There are certain things that he did wrong in the process because he thought that they were going to be in a different position than what he was. I think that all of those things kind of affected the fact that he wasn't a great athlete. Like the fact that he's not his daddy. He's not his daddy. He didn't run a 4.140.
No.
I think some of that stuff hurt him. But in terms of toughness, if he had the opportunity to pick and pat the ball around like they do in Oregon, he would have put up crazy numbers.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. If you went into some of these buster ass teams, let's be for real, you went in and talked to the Giants, and you don't want to be there, really, you don't want them to pick you. I'm coming in with my headphones on. So I believe a lot of this stuff that, this is just my opinion, wasn't in the room, but I read personality types. I think a lot of this stuff that was done was intentional.
I think so too.
Yeah. You trying to play under Dable, man? Come on, man. No.
I wonder who promised him. The way he was behaving was like they knew something was going to happen. I wonder if Tomlin or the Raiders, because Brady, he was sponsored by Brady. Brady was an athlete for Brady.
Yep.
He used to train with Brady. I think under no circumstance he thought he was getting past 9 with the Saints. Something happened. But what I'm thinking is it's a level of collusion, because I also think that phone call also validates that there was collusion.
Yes.
And I think that also the Atlanta Falcons should also lose a draft pick. They should lose their 5th round draft pick because of that.
Yes.
They tried to humiliate him and his family.
Yes.
As a league, I believe the Cleveland Browns drafted him because they signed Deshaun Watson to that contract. So the league was like, listen, you're going to do us a solid and draft him, because it makes no sense for them to draft Gabriel and draft him. To me, it sounds like there's another thing coming up. Shedeur Sanders, he's number 2 in jersey sales.
That's right. I saw that today.
Right? Or 3. He might be number 3.
And there, I looked at the point of the prices, $49.99 to $129.99 right now.
But you know the other thing? They're not giving him number 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why wouldn't you give him number 2 is open? They're trying to humiliate him. This is a humiliation ritual. This is a collusion of some sort. I believe that they're going to. He's better than Gabriel.
A lot better.
He is not going to get the opportunity. I think this is a payback for the owners. Like, listen, we need somebody to draft him because we don't want people to say that we concluded against him. So give him a shot. He's not going to get a chance to play. I just don't see nowhere in the world. Everyone had him as a top 10 pick or in the 1st round. He goes to the 5th round. At some point, it's like, oh no, we got him. And then the way they did it, they tried the I'm gonna Eli my situation and this and that. I think that was done a certain way. Like, they shouldn't have done it that way. But for his son to come out and say, I think dad messed up. I think they overplayed their hand. They proved the point. We run this, and they let them know that. And now you're telling, I don't care what nobody says. Bronny James sold more jerseys than almost anybody this year. So whatever they paid him, I think he made over $50 million in jersey sales.
Okay.
I don't want to hear nothing about him being a 55th pick. He damn near should have made all rookie. So when you think about this, it's like just off his jersey sales alone, he's going to make back whatever money that any team could have invested in a first-round draft pick.
That's what it's saying.
You're not going to give him his number 2 because you're trying to prove a point to him. So it's like, to me, it's a lot going on. I wish he would have been able to challenge. Like, I wish he would have went undrafted and tried to challenge going back to school for a year. Because they said that it was something that they were saying, that they were like, if he doesn't get drafted, they're going to probably try to sue to get him eligibility to go back to college. But for him to be, he's so accurate with that ball. 3 of his wide receivers got drafted.
Yeah, 3. Yep.
He had no offensive line. Like, there's just too many. They draft the Saints draft a dude who's 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
when does that ever happen?
And also, New Orleans would have loved him. Yeah. He would have been the man in New Orleans. And they also said, now I thought about this. It's like it's like, I'm a personal trainer, and a lot of times men don't want their women being trained by a man.
Yeah.
And I totally understand it, because in personal training, a lot of trainers do mess with dudes' wives and stuff like that. That's a real thing. Yeah. So you mean to tell me Deion Sanders' son would have been being coached by someone? If they have a bad year, Deion come take their job and coach his son? I'm not bringing my replacement.
Well, that was also the part of the conversation that Deion was promoting himself and his future. And then this is why a lot of owners said take Shedeur off the draft board.
Yeah, so I believe they made a bunch of mistakes, but I thought Dallas would have picked him up. But when you think about it, that would have been the place that I most definitely would. If I'm the coach, I'm not bringing Shedeur here. So I have a bad couple of games. They fire me to bring Deion here to take my job. No, we're not doing that. I think.
So what's the length of his contract? 4 years?
Who, Shedeur?
If he makes his in?
It's 4 years with an option.
He may not even be there in a couple of years.
I don't think he's going to be there this year. I honestly
That's what I said.
I think they're going to trade him, because they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. Deshaun's not playing. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Gabriel, Shedeur. I see a situation where quarterback gets hurt. Some teams will, at some point, the kid could play. They're going to be like, listen, we need a quarterback that we can develop or put in there. There's still a couple of teams like the Raiders. Did the Raiders pick up 2 quarterbacks at the end of the draft?
That I don't know.
Some team picked up 2 quarterbacks in the 7th round. I can't remember which team did it. But Pittsburgh, something happened where everyone said he was going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did make a move. They still haven't signed Aaron Rodgers. Something has to happen with that. I can see a situation if Rodgers decides to retire. I wouldn't be surprised seeing Pittsburgh trading for Shedeur. But something must have happened that was really bad. Something, because he doesn't speak well. Like, he already doesn't articulate himself like really well, I think.
Who's that?
I think Shedeur.
Oh, okay.
So I believe he probably did interview well, but for him to
on purpose, man.
Yeah, but I think you only do that for you couldn't have done that for every team.
Dude, let's be for real. Most teams in the NFL are borderline trash or aren't going anywhere.
So where did you think he wanted to go?
To a competitive team that wants to win. That's what he said. Think about all the teams that are not going anywhere and haven't in the last 30 years.
Cleveland's one of them.
Cleveland's one of them. And Deion said what several years ago? Don't go. No quarterback should go to Cleveland.
Chicago either.
Hey, he said this. Or the Jets, and we can keep naming them.
Should the Jets not draft now? I thought the Jets would have been a good spot for him too.
Yeah, but that's a horrible organization.
Yeah, but at this point, it's just like I'm more or less wondering. I wonder what's going to come out.
I think we'll know at some point. It's probably going to be far into the future. There will be a real documentary or something made about this whole situation, and much more will come out. Jay, Mike, I want to ask you a question. Did you see Giannis tonight at the end of the game?
Yeah, I saw the thing with him and Halliburton's dad. And the Halliburton's dad, it looked like they were headbutting.
Yeah, they were headbutting. He was talking.
He said, "I love you." He said, "I love you" at the end. He told Halliburton's dad, "I love you" at the end. Then it jumped to him and Mathurin.
Yeah.
But
Halliburton's dad came on the court with a picture of something in his hand. I can't remember what was on that, but he's right in front of Giannis' face with this, whatever this is.
Oh, was like a picture, like showing him like that.
Yeah, it was like a piece of fabric with some kind of picture on it, maybe somebody's face. I can't make out what is on this thing. So Giannis says in the post game that he has a championship. They don't. He's good. And then Halliburton says, "I don't think my pops was in the right place at all."
Oh wow! I thought because I thought it was like one of those things where they like, "Yeah, you my dog." Like I thought it was kind of like that. But then, I love the. Well, let me say this. I like the way Giannis grabbed Mathurin, and Mathurin did not move. He couldn't get away from that. Hey, that's he's still African, bro. Don't let the
That's right. When he grabbed the kitchen back there, that bro was locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean he's strong, bro.
And it looked like he said, I'm going to try to finalize this tonight or tomorrow morning. Looked like he told Mathurin, so why don't you say whatever you said right now?
Hey, he in the weight room, bro.
I can tell you this: we got some young guys in the league that like a Tyrese Halliburton. You talking about overrated? Who like do a lot of talking?
Yeah.
Everybody ain't on that time.
Yeah, Halliburton's because see, I'm a different kind of dude. Like I grew up in the hood and all that stuff, but I'm more of a Russell Wilson kind of guy, right? And I typically appreciate guys like Halliburton, but something about Halliburton irks me.
Yeah, so it bothers me too. It bothers me
because he's typically my kind of guy. Like
it's
that
like,
type
it's
of
like
guy.
The slight smiles and the looks and the talking. It's like, okay.
It's something not genuine about him.
Yeah, it's something. I just like I ain't gonna lie. Like Russ does a lot of stuff that's not like it seems like he's like the teacher's pet type of guy.
He does,
but he's like I'm a lot like Russ. Like when you think about it, like this being real about it. Like I'm kind of that kind of kid. I grew up a certain way, but I always handled myself a certain kind of way. So I kind of look to those kind of guys more often. Like, oh, I like him. I'm gonna collect him. But Halliburton, is this something? It might be the way he dressed. Like it might be. I don't. It's something.
It's not gonna work out for him. It's not gonna.
Yeah, it's something about him. But I don't know. It's just weird. But who they played to win out of the Knicks and who? That's who they played to win out.
I think so.
They match up terribly with the Knicks. Because Indiana and Milwaukee played. Oh no.
Hold on, I'm about to confirm this. Pacers play the winner. Oh, they're about to play the Cavs. They both just won.
Before we get out of here, do we all agree that Doc Rivers is a terrible coach?
Yeah,
he's been that way. He's been that way since he was in practice, and Paul Pierce came in drunk, and he told Paul Pierce to go home.
But he's not the worst coach though. Who's the worst coach
in today's game?
Now he in the last 20 years.
That's a lot. What's the guy that from Detroit?
Byron Scott.
Oh, Byron Scott was bad.
No, see, well, any of the last Bulls coaches of the past 20 years, you can. Then he never all of them. You can put them.
Yeah, you can do it.
Byron Scott used to end practice so he can go golfing. Him and Chris Paul in New Orleans. Like no practice, we're going golfing. Like they because I was in the clubs in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005 in New Orleans. The players were out all the time, and I remember they used to always talk about because Baron Davis and because we had Baron Davis, and then it was Chris Paul. So that was the two.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mashburn, Baron Davis, and I forgot Jamal McGlure.
Mm-hmm.
We had all those guys. Them guys stayed out, and I remember they were just like, "Why y'all never practicing? Y'all always at the golf range, always at the golf club." And it was like that's their coach. And I remember later they were telling a story about how they would end practice early so he can catch tee times and stuff like that.
And how long was he there?
Probably for 3 years. Because Chris, how long did Paul stay there?
I mean, I'm going to look up Byron Scott.
He probably stayed there 3-4 years, maybe. But they just talk about how bad he was.
Oh, he was there a while, bro. 2004 to 2009.
Yes, I was in the club. I was in them streets. And them dudes used to always be out, but they said they never used to practice. They said he had to go get his tee time. That's hard.
Byron Scott comes across like that. He comes across as a. I don't know what it was like in his playing days.
He was hard. He was kind of hard nosed in his playing days. I was like he'll dunk on you.
He really had ops. Yeah, he was a very athletic guy.
Yeah, he'll go bam on you. You know what I'm saying?
You try to beat Jordan up, and then you get played.
Yeah, you can't touch Black Jesus.
No, sir. J. Mike, it's always good, brother, to have you here. I miss these conversations, man.
Oh, cool. I liked it, man. That was cool, man.
Appreciate having you, J. Mike. Nice to meet you, my man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Houston's own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, New Orleans own.
True.
Actually, I was born in Berkeley,
California.
Yeah, I was in Oakland. I was born in Berkeley, lived in Oakland, lived in San Francisco until I was 8, and then moved to New Orleans at 8, and here until Katrina.
That's why you don't have that Southern accent.
I had if I get mad, it'll come out. You heard me? What's here? One, all that stuff. Yeah, I sound like a hot boy for sure.
Okay.
But I was always very very careful in how I spoke. I always made sure I spoke well.
I had a great aunt that harped on me about being mindful of what I say. When I get excited or upset as well, Chicago stuff will come out.
Yeah. Hey, so are you a mild sauce guy? You do all that
mild sauce?
Yeah, the chicken.
Yes.
Oh,
Harold's mild sauce.
Yeah, on Harold's. Yeah.
He eat vegetables, then that's it.
Yeah, I don't eat that stuff anymore, J. Mike.
Oh, you don't? So you're a vegetarian?
I'm a pescatarian. I was a vegetarian for 6 months in 2012, and then I've been a pescatarian since. And since last September, I've really tightened up what I eat and don't eat.
Hold on. So, have you ever eaten a fish called tile?
No.
It is the greatest fish of all time. It's called golden tile. It tastes like crab and lobster.
I'm looking at a picture of it right now. Never heard of this.
The fish is so great.
They get pretty big too.
Yeah, you can get some now. And I don't know, like out here in Galveston, I discovered it, or not discovered it, but I found out about it. The fish, the lady was explaining, like, so what is it? She was saying, like, we have tile fish, blah blah blah, and she was like, "That's like, what kind of fish is this? Like catfish?" She says, "No, it tastes like lobster and crab." And we're like, "What?" I said, "I gotta taste this." I've been driving. So Galveston is like a 45-minute, 50-minute drive.
Yeah.
I drive up there to go get the fish, because the restaurant is called Katie's, but they also have a fresh fish market there, and it's like $7 a pound. The fish is, I'm talking about, when you talk about delicious. So I told my wife, I was like, listen, I'm going up to Galveston, because I never like going anywhere. And she was like, you must like this fish. You're willing to drive almost an hour to go get it each way.
I gotta find out where I can get this, man.
But look, see if you can find it. If you can, it is so good. You would not be disappointed.
I appreciate that. I will definitely.
It's called golden tile.
Okay.
And the best part of the fish is the jaw. You cut out the jaw, it's like a nugget almost. It's like the spinalis on a ribeye.
Yeah.
That little piece is so good. And I think that they're I don't know where, I know they have it here in Galveston, out here in Texas, but it's the golden tile fish. If you're a fish person, you have to have
check this out. I'm gonna do some research.
Most definitely.
I'll definitely check it out. J Mike, Big Jon. This is legendary stuff, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
See everybody next week.
All right, man. Well, hit me up. I'll be on whenever you need me.
All right. I'll definitely be in contact with you.
All right, for sure.
All right. Peace. Y'all keep rolling.